If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
You were saying the Olympics wasn't interesting you yesterday. Well, can I offer you 50 seconds of interest?
50 seconds of interest is a similar pitch I make to my girlfriend on a nightly basis.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Reese is here. Cole is here. We've got Dom stopping by at 10:33. Jay Morrison on the Bengals side of things coming up at 11:33. We blitz the NFL at 11 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, the real truth hits you. We are coming in hot off of a Monday nighter last night and an NFL season that is into its second month with, quite honestly, like no great teams. The Chiefs are undefeated. They did so last night with Juju Smith-Schuster having over 100 yards receiving and Kareem Hunt, of all people, rushing for over 100 yards on the ground, which led to a conversation between me and the boys, which continued, which actually started on Sunday as Joe Flacco was throwing for 300 yards, and it's one that's been in their face with Baker playing well and now Flacco playing well. And so last night we're watching the game a little bit after some basketball stuff that I had to do on Beamsy's birthday, and sure enough, here's Kareem Hunt looking vintage Kareem Hunt. And they said, why didn't we keep Kareem Hunt, Dad? And I thought, I don't know the answer. I do know the answer to that, but it's just too damn complicated to get into with you guys right now. And it led me to kind of the bigger kind of theme to start the show today. And that is this. It is pretty damn easy as Ohioans to root for the Buckeyes and to have your kids be all in with them. Unless you have ties to Michigan, unless you have ties to Penn State or Notre Dame or something like that. Those are kind of the only ones, depending on where you live in the state, that could maybe pull you. But by and large, this is a Buckeye state. Central Ohio has long been kind of a battlefield for the NFL. Cincinnati and Cleveland have both fought for it for time and at various different moments. It feels like it's by far, and by feels like what I mean by that is when I've seen the ratings, certainly back when I was at Channel 10, we would see them, and the Browns would obviously outrate the Bengals every single week. Or maybe that isn't obvious. Maybe people aren't aware of that, but there are a lot more Browns fans in Central Ohio than there are Bengals and Steelers. Actually, Steelers are pretty well represented as well. But it goes to kind of a bigger question, and that is, as an NFL town, if you are someone who lives here and moved here from somewhere else, and you have no ties to Northeast Ohio or to Southwest Ohio, do you push your kid in either of those directions? Do you push them to be a Browns fan? Would you push them to be a Bengals fan because those teams are in Ohio? Or is it what I kind of think is happening with the youth in our fine state is, as the NFL goes, we're kind of free agents. And it's easier for kids to root for anybody that they want because all of these games are on TV. They can see all of it. Most of my kids don't, outside of football, don't really watch sports in the traditional sense anyway. They basically go to YouTube and watch cut-ups of various teams. We have Halloween coming up in a little more than a month. I guarantee you I'm going to see Mahomes jerseys. I guarantee you I'm going to see Josh Allen for sure. There will be Lamar Jackson jerseys. Is it a responsibility of a parent to make your kid root for an Ohio team in the NFL? Furthermore, is it the job of a parent, if you have ties to those parts of the state, to get your kid to root for the team you rooted for? Reese, you're the prime example of this. You have family who are from Northeast Ohio. You were born into this, and now you're stuck being a Browns fan, and it has not treated you well through the years, and yet at this point, you're too damn committed.
Yeah, apologies. I was so mystified by what happened yesterday with Emmanuel Clase giving up a home run, and then
We'll get to your baseball.
Kareem Hunt having 102 yards on 30 carries or 27 carries. That I forgot the Vikings are also 5-0 in the NFL. But that's what I've been saying for months, years. If you have the ability to shield your kids from the Cleveland Browns, do so. If they are entering the 2024 football season in sort of the prime of their sports fandom, make sure that Cleveland is not the team that they choose. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals never had anything like Joe Burrow when I was growing up. And so the Steelers, you had the successes there were much easier to gravitate to. And they also did a decent job of acquiring Ohio State players, as did other teams around the league. And so that's where some of the other kids went to. But for me, some reason, had to be a Browns fan. And I would say I can't go anywhere else. I'm trapped. I don't know if I'd choose another team, but I would also say it's fine if you're a parent to encourage other fandom.
Cole, you're Central Ohio kid. Where'd you go pro-wise?
Well, my family's all from Steubenville, Ohio, so I got the Pittsburgh ties. We're
Big Red, dude.
Yeah, well, they're Catholic Central, but either way. Yeah. So I got the Pittsburgh ties through them. And then Steubenville's kind of like divided into the three. There's a little bit of Ohio State, a little bit of Pitt, and the Catholics like Notre Dame.
Yeah. I've been, there was a legendary high school coach, Reno Staccia or something like that, who coached Steubenville High School. Was that his name? I think that was it. I went over there one time and saw they have that big red horse in the end zone.
Yeah.
Statue. That place is nuts. For there, you're Steelers. That's the way that it's going to go. I think my boys, what I did with them is I said, obviously they all were pulled to the Browns. And you also have to remember with the Browns in their life have been largely respectable. They're more like, unlike you, Reese, who's like, hey, can we make the playoffs once in my life? For my kids, it's like, why can't we go win the Super Bowl? Because they've seen him in the postseason. And the Burrow-Bengals thing is the easiest thing ever. Joe Burrow's about as likable as can be. Jamar Chase is cool and likable, and Higgins is likable. I mean, they have so many guys. Coaching CYO football this year, one of my kids was a huge Bengals fan, and he was a really good defensive end. I just kept calling him Hendrickson. I'm like, you're Hendrickson. Let's go. D-end, let's go. And so they locked into that. There's a lot to root for on the Bengals side. The Steelers are obviously a lot to root for, and with all the winning, that obviously makes all the sense in the world. What I did with the boys, though, is I said, look, pick an NFC team. So if this goes south, you still are watching the NFL. So find an NFC team that maybe you can gravitate towards, because it's a tough sled, and it's their two franchises, two Ohio franchises have not won a Super Bowl. The Bengals have had a bunch of great quarterback play through the years, from Boomer to Carson to obviously to what they have now with Joe. Even Dalton was more than fine and was stable. Jeff Blake even gave him a little bit of love at one point when they had Carl Pickens and those guys. So they've had some stretches of really good play more consistently than the Browns by a wide margin. The NFL right now, as you are sitting here, we're 5 weeks into this thing, heading into week 6. I don't know where we're at. The only thing I can think of is this. It feels to me like most of the teams, a lot of the teams, use the first month almost like preseason. And it's just kind of getting their toes wet in this thing, realizing you have a 17-game schedule. I think it's borderline stupefying that the Kansas City Chiefs are 5-0, because they do not look like a dominant football team in any way, but they've got the wizard at quarterback, and they've been clutch. They've also got some incredibly timely calls when they've needed them, and so I think that plays into it as well. They're undefeated. Minnesota's undefeated. I don't know. Either one of those teams are great, though. I really don't. One other thing I wanted to run by you guys from the game last night. Have you noticed that every time they show Taylor Swift at the game reacting to Travis Kelce's catch, she is reacting as if she is the mother of a 4-year-old who's discovering football for the first time? Like Travis Kelce's never caught the ball. She's like stupefied, mouth agape, thrilled. It's a beautiful thing. I assume it's all genuine, but I just think, like, my God, this is one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the league, and every time he catches it, she acts as if this is the first time he's ever caught a football.
I'm not sure how much football she's watched up to this point.
You think?
Well, I think she's just been too busy being the biggest star in the world. There's a lot of time you got to put into that.
It's in the background, maybe? I don't know.
Probably on, but I would imagine that in her football watching, it's just it's in the background. It's a casual thing. It's more of a social event for someone like Taylor, because, again, biggest star in the world has been a gigantic icon since she was in her teens. So I think that probably has taken more precedence in her life. And now that she's focusing on football and she's got somebody that she loves, and every time they do something, she's like a proud parent.
She really is.
Which I think is nice to see.
The way it is. I don't have a problem with it. I just think it's amazing. It's like the reaction is very much of like a mom who's like the mother of a 4 or 5-year-old playing football for this first time.
The way that his first 3 games went, she probably is shocked to see what he's done the past 2 games, getting up there near 100 yards.
Well, look, she's had, the only time she's been with him, they've been great. So he's been great most of his career. But, yeah, I was watching it last night, and she was just so excited. I was like, man, she must not have watched much football before this.
Couldn't have.
Because you get like a 9-yard completion on like a 1st and 10 and just bonkers.
Oh, my God.
All right. I get it.
She's from PA, dude. Fellas, she's from PA.
Wouldn't she spend most of her time in Nashville, though?
I don't know. Maybe. I'd assume like on a Friday night, though, she was still aware of the importance of football.
Yeah, but don't we go to those in high school?
All right, put it on the poll.
All right.
Is it possible that Taylor Swift did not watch football until she started dating Travis Kelce? Is that the phrasing?
How strict are we on did not watch football?
I mean, it's a radio show poll, so I don't know how strict we can be.
We'll try. We'll play with the verbiage in the break, and we'll get you something more refined coming out in the next segment. How about that?
Yeah. I am curious, though, if people really believe that you could navigate 34 years of life and almost be discovering football for the first time at age 33. Chiefs are undefeated. The Kareem stuff is a bitter pill for Browns fans because he was so popular and such a leader and came back last year with the injury to Nick Chubb and did not look that way last year. I mean, he was I thought he was largely cooked a year ago, did not have the burst, and all of a sudden he runs for 102 yards, every short yardage down, and you're watching the Browns backs and you're saying, well, that would be nice if they had a little bit of that. So that was a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow. Speaking of bitter pill to swallow, my God, thoughts and prayers for the folks. I know we have a lot of listeners in Southwest Florida. That's just outrageous that they're going to get hit again. They just got hit last week with a monster. Had a buddy of mine from Tampa who was in town and over at the house on Friday and told the harrowing story of like standing on his kitchen counter as the water rose and watching his belongings just start to go underwater and then having to swim out a window and swim to a neighbor across the way to be able to evacuate. Obviously, he waited too long, but lost everything, and that's last week. And now they're going to get drilled again with this one, and this one looks to be even more severe, and it looks like it's hitting the exact same area. Obviously, a lot of Ohio expats in that part of the country, and just thinking and praying for you, and hopefully you heed the warning of the officials there and get the hell out, because when you're talking about 15 foot of storm surge and Category 4 and 15 inches of rain on an area that just got pummeled, that does not end well. So certainly thoughts and prayers. If you can give to the Red Cross, please do so, because they are headed for one hell of a time down in Southwest Florida and throughout the southeastern part of the United States. We will do a little baseball, Reese. We're going to do a little baseball coming up. Lots of NFL. Dom and Jay Morrison as well. We blitz the NFL at 11 o'clock. We'll do the Real Truth at 10. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Friday nights mean high school football. Join us for the fans' high school game of the week.
This week, Upper Arlington at Olentangy Orange.
Live coverage starts Friday night at 6:30. Your home for Friday Night Lights, The Fan.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Dr. Marta Lavelle of Urbana and Darby Dental smiles on having First Bank of Central Ohio as a partner.
It has been great working with First Bank of Central Ohio. They helped me achieve a huge goal, becoming a business owner. The bank made it so easy. They helped me through the whole process. It's been great ever since.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Democrats will do anything to win. Changing the rules, mail-in ballots, cheating, and even opening our borders, all to win at any cost. Now they have a new scheme, Issue 1. Issue 1 would create a redistricting commission aimed at overturning key protections against gerrymandering in Ohio. Protections approved by over 70% of Ohio voters to prevent this exact kind of political manipulation of voting districts. And the members of this mysterious commission are backed by foreign special interest groups. They're unelected, unaccountable, and completely beyond voter control. If they abuse their power, there's no way to vote them out or hold them responsible. Their only purpose is to take control of Ohio's politics and turn the state from red to blue. This isn't democracy, it's deception. Don't let the Dems continue to rewrite the rules to rig the system in their favor. Protect Ohio's voice. Vote no on Issue 1. Paid for by Ohio Works.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another bright blue sky out there today, and this trend continues all week long. Today we are looking at a high of 70 under sunny skies. Tomorrow, 70 again, and then heading into Thursday and Friday, temperatures will also be around 70. We'll keep the sunny sky around all week long. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
Matt with this on the Taylor Swift question. She's been a touring musician since she was 16. I saw her twice open for Rascal Flatts back then. Had no clue who she was. She was the opening act of 4 acts on the show, by the way. Crazy. I have a famous one of those. In college, we went to see Bush perform. Do you guys even know who Bush is? Do you have any point of reference on Bush? They had a moment.
Machine Head?
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani's ex-husband?
Okay, you say it. So they were playing in Missoula, Montana, and the opening act was a band that none of us had heard of called No Doubt. And then they went nuts. So there are those where that happens, where all of a sudden she's superseded. I remember being quite locked into Gwen Stefani, thinking she had a lot going. I'd never seen a chick quite like that before. I remember that quite vividly. This one from Kevin was just having the combo. If I wasn't a Browns fan, for who would I root for? 2 teams come to mind, Seahawks and or Broncos. Probably Seattle. Cool city, cool team, fans who care, no connection to the Browns. Those were the teams that people wanted me to root for. Anytime when I tell them, when they say, who's your NFL team? And I said, I grew up a Bears fan. They said, why don't you root for the Seahawks and Broncos? I wasn't going to a game, kids. Those are both well over 8 hours from where I grew up. Premel with this, I inherited Cowboys fandom from my dad and family in Texas. Ohio State is non-negotiable, but I've cited that my sons can be free agents once they're old enough to get into the NFL. And you got some on the YouTube on the Taylor Swift front as well, Reese?
Yeah, this Excuse me. This from John. Wife's a Swiftie, so I've been subjected to watching her docs on the streaming services, and you can quickly tell from watching those that she has not watched any good amount of football.
That's what I think. It's genuine. I think it's genuine. I just think she's. Like I was telling you guys in the break. I've coached a lot of little guy football, and she reminds me of like the mom of a 5-year-old. It's like, oh my God, he caught it. Like that's what it seems like. And of course, he's a first ballot gold jacket, and so it's like I got a lot of them through the years. He has. Yeah. All right. So we'll put on the poll and see. I think to me, it seems likely.
So I'll see if I can get approval for this verbiage.
Go ahead.
At
Give it a shot.
971 BFS. Is it possible Taylor Swift didn't pay attention to football until she started dating Travis Kelce?
Didn't pay attention to football at all.
At all. Until she started dating
I think
Travis
it all
Kelce.
needs to be it all needs to be the qualifier because it has to be because that's what it looks like when she gets a reaction. Like as if she's stunned that he caught it.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. Like she has no idea. It makes me think that when Aaron Andrews do the introduction? I think so. I think she did the introduction to Travis, to her or whatever. But makes me think that when she sold it, she had no idea who the Kansas City Chiefs were, had no idea who he was, nothing. That's what it seems like to me, which is, I guess, believable. Like if you have been grinding for 18 years on tour and writing music and being that prolific, it's possible. But it just seems the NFL has become such a behemoth, it's hard to imagine a scenario where you wouldn't, especially a girl from PA.
And now she's supposedly drawing up X's and O's and giving them to Travis to suggest.
Dude, if she called the lateral on the run last night, that was badass. I've never seen that in a football game before.
I guess they practice that every day.
Apparently, and I was listening to the Manning cast. Did you guys go Manning cast or traditional last
Regular.
night?
Manning.
I went Manning too. It's really good in the first half with Belichick because it's mostly just Peyton and Bill. Eli kind of gets squeezed out, and they just talk ball. And Peyton made the case that Travis apparently does that all the time in practice, where they'll just run a play, he'll catch it, and then he'll spin lateral it to somebody across. And basically, he went to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid gave him the green light to do that play. And so they basically told everybody, be aware, once Travis catches it, if you're behind him and it looks right, he might spin it to you for a lateral. I'm a man, I'm 40, I've never seen that play before in my life.
He also, takes the direct snap of their final touchdown and just hands the ball off to Xavier Worthy. So, they're doing stuff with their offense that you wouldn't expect them to do with guys kind of in the later stage of their career. I
think they have to because of their injuries, Reese.
And they're making it work. Like, it's incredible to me that they've got a 30-plus-year-old Kareem Hunt getting 27 carries a game. I know Reed said afterward that, his bye week's going to just be spent in an ice tub. Yeah. They've got Travis Kelce taking direct snaps. Earlier in the game, he's just doing laterals that you're thinking, no! You're panicking almost if you're just if you're anybody else but the Chiefs, your players are doing that. But because you've got a wizard quarterback who can throw around people, it seems normal. Only for them, though.
Mahomes is 19th in the NFL in quarterback rating. 19th.
Who's number one?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, I know. I'm just asking.
Number one, Joe Flacco. 264 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, no picks in the 2 games he's played. He's 49 of 70. Went to state school, but that works out to about 70% chance, 7.5 yards a pass. Guess who's third to further salt the wound?
Please say Baker.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, say Baker.
Is third. He is third on that list. So it goes Flacco, Burrow, Mayfield, Jackson. Jaden Daniels is 5. So just so we're clear, the quarterback who was the most successful of the Stefanski era in terms of what it looked like on the field, Joe Burrow, is 1. The one who is most successful in terms of amount of starts and wins is 3, neither of which still play for the Browns. The reason they acquired Deshaun Watson is 2 and 4, and the guy that just single-handedly in 1 year changed the direction of a franchise and they just beat, who did not play in the fourth quarter, or just got beat by them, and did not play in the fourth quarter, is 5th. Just so you know. That's where it starts.
I was going to ask with, younger football fans, because athletes nowadays, and especially quarterbacks, are so available on your phone, on your computer, on television. They do every podcast. Even during the season, you've got guys doing podcasts. Do they gravitate more to players?
They do, for sure. NBA too, Reese. I mean, the kids, they do. There's not a when you ask a kid who's your favorite player, NFL or college, a lot of times they'll just say, you get all sorts of names. I asked a kid last night, and he said Joker was his favorite player in basketball, on the basketball side of things. So, yeah, they root for players, and I think they do in the NFL as well. So it just gets spread around. It's also accessible. You're not locked into what – if you are someone who's a man, I'm 40, a man, I'm 30, and you grew up in this state, and it's like, well, I got to root for my teams. You don't have to anymore because you can see all of it. There's no restriction on what you can see. All right, you got Mr. Baseball. You got some time here. The Royals go into the Bronx last night and win 42. It was a glorious game in Cleveland until it wasn't yesterday afternoon, Reese.
Yeah, Guardians had chances, I think, in the 7th and the 8th. They ended on double plays. So that's not been great for the Guardians, really, over the past couple of seasons. You leave runners stranded against a guy like Tarek Skubal. You're going to have a rough day at the office. And I did not have Emmanuel Clase giving up a 3-run home run to Kerry Carpenter, of all people, in the the top of the 9th inning. I think that was the first 3-run home run he's ever given up. And I want to say the first runs that have been scored on him since August. So, when Skubal's got on his best stuff and Clase's given up that, all right. On to Game 3 Wednesday.
Can you explain to me why the only series that's being played in the middle of the afternoon is the Tigers and Gardos?
I would imagine that baseball looks at that as the least desirable from a market standpoint.
That's a correct answer, but it's also I know you do, but you have a non-traditional job. But just from a traditional like growth of the sport standpoint, it is possible. I mean, I had buddies who went up there yesterday and took their kids out of school to try to go to the game.
That's good parenting.
That's good parenting. You have to do it again on Wednesday if you're going to do it. Meantime, in the NL, the Phillies and Mets are at 6 o'clock and the Dodgers and Pods are at 9. So they're making it at night on that side of it, both. Meantime, in the American League, they're not. Now, I understand they're all Eastern teams in the American League, or East Coast or Central Division teams, Central Time Zone teams. But at the same time, like if every playoff game's in the middle of the afternoon, that is not a great job of growing the sport. When you could easily go, one of them starts at 5 and the other one starts at 8:30. You could easily do that with the Yankees and the Royals. Play that game at 8:30. Play the other one at 5:08. So at least you have a chance.
Yeah, Game 3's at 3:08.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. They played at 1, 4, and 3 in that series. Pretty wild, to say the least. Ryan Day from Buckeye Roundtable. It is Oregon week. His first impressions of the Ducks coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
There's a place where mishaps don't mean missing out. Welcome to AAA's The Plus Side, where a AAA Plus membership means that an empty gas tank won't keep you from a full day, where a flat tire doesn't have to deflate your mood, where being locked out doesn't mean you'll be out of luck for long, and where a dead battery can't stop you from being the life of the party.
Looks like you're all set here. Have a good rest of the day.
Because on the plus side, roadside mishaps don't have to ruin your day. With AAA Plus, you're covered with the gold standard in roadside assistance, whenever and wherever you need it. Tire changes, battery swaps, and emergency fuel are just a tap, click, or call away. AAA gets to you faster, and if you need a tow, we'll take you further, anywhere within 100 miles. Become a AAA Plus member today and experience the peace of mind that comes when you live on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply. Service is only available from AAA and CAA in North America.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Sunday, a day of rest, relaxation, and Phillies football. Catch the Brownies as they head to Philly to battle the Eagles.
Live coverage starts Sunday at 11 with the Kick It One.
Your Central Ohio home for Browns football, The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Anthony Rothman. If you're feeling at a loss for energy or just not upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. That's right, it affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. But guys have different T levels, so don't go for a standard dosage plan. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan, like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. Do it now. Go to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. We're 65. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
On October 21st, 2006, Michigan State found themselves down 38-3 with less than 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they made that initial deficit like it never even happened, scoring 38 straight points to win 41-38.
Incomplete. The ball game is over. The Michigan State Spartans in one of the greatest comebacks in Michigan State football history.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition. It is Oregon Week. This is the one we've been pointing towards. This is the one we've been talking about really for the entire offseason. We were curious where this one would drop. It dropped on the second weekend in October. It will be out in Eugene. There is no secret that teams going across 2 time zones so far in the new Big Ten play have not fared well. 1-8 is the record of those teams. Only Indiana's win at UCLA is the only time that a team crossing 2 time zones has won so far in Big Ten play. So the Buckeyes are going to have to go up against that. This is a game that is 4 years in the making. This was supposed to be a game that was played in the COVID season of 2020. Obviously, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten were unable to get that game done, so it got canceled. And it got made right when the Ducks moved into the Big Ten with the trip out there. Remember, they came here the last time we saw them, and they beat us up. They bullied us at the shoe. That was one of those games that forced the change on the defensive side of things, brought Jim Knowles in, and the rest is history. So this one's been brewing and percolating for a very, very long time. Oregon is talented. Much like the Buckeyes, they were aggressive in a very specific way in the portal. They have added. It is a battle of 2 portal quarterbacks in this one, both of them trying to chase that elusive national championship. Ryan Day was on Roundtable last night and gave his initial impressions of what he's seen from the Ducks.
A very experienced quarterback, explosive running back, really skilled players. Slot receiver is dynamic. Offensive line is growing. Tight end's an NFL player. So a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Same thing on defense. They're really, really talented pass rushers and, some really thick, stout guys up front, but really good athletes on the back end. So and they play good on special teams, well coached. One of the better teams in the country. So the top 5 matchup on the road, and so we got again looking forward to this. This one's been circled for a while for us.
Us too, buddy. Us too, certainly. One of the things that will have to change for the Buckeyes on Saturday is the slow starts. Outside of the Western Michigan game, it's kind of been a little bit of an epidemic for Ohio State, both offensively especially, defensively to a lesser degree, although getting off the field on third down is something that will have to be better when given the opportunity against the Ducks. Here is Ryan Day on a message to his team after a sluggish first half against the Hawkeyes.
We felt like we were moving the ball. We had 200 yards of offense in the first half, but we were turning the ball over. Didn't finish a drive on the fourth down, and then had a fumble and an interception. Defense, held them to under 100 yards, and so that part was good. And that one thing when you're playing Iowa, what you can't do in that moment is start to panic and think you're gonna, get it all back at once. What it takes is high levels of execution, methodically moving the ball down the field. And we felt like we were in a good place coming out of halftime, despite the score, and that we wanted to do a great job in the first 5 minutes coming out.
These two coaches come into this one with various things to prove. Both of them are considered by most to be among the top 5 or 10 coaches in the sport. Both of them have been incredible in the recruiting world. Both of them have support of, in the case of Oregon, one monster booster in Phil Knight. In the case of Ohio State and Ryan Day, a bunch of monster boosters that are, quite honestly, ready to go, and we're ready to go this offseason. Both of these teams kind of come into this one mirrors of each other in the sense that they are very unsatisfied from what happened a year ago, the Buckeyes with the loss to Michigan, and then the kind of absurd game against Missouri in the Cotton Bowl. For the Ducks, they lost twice last year to Washington. And they had Bo Nix, and that felt like they were the team to beat in the Pac-12, and they lost to the Huskies not once, but twice. Had they beat them once, they probably would have been the representative into the college football playoff. Dan Lanning needs a win like this. He needs to have a win against an out-of-conference team. It's at their place. I think both of these coaches have a decent amount of pressure on them. I think that it's even more, though, on Lanning. I think that Ryan Day's pressure will come later in the season. I think for Lanning, at home, the weather should be spectacular. He's got College Game Day there. He's got the full build-up, everything surrounding it. This is his big program that he's built in the shadow of what he learned at Kirby Smart at Georgia. And to me, he turned down Bama to keep this job. To me, this is the pressure mostly sits at the feet of the Ducks. I think I'm very curious to see what Ohio State looks in this. Feel very confident from what I've seen from Ohio State in the first month that it'll transition well, juxtaposed from what I've seen from Oregon. But at the same time, if you're looking for pressure, if you're looking for those type of things, to me, guys, it falls at the feet of Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks.
Especially because this game, prime time, Eugene, you have that pressure that you spoke of. Losing both of those games to Washington, and that Oregon team as talented as they've had in a long time, and that includes teams that had Heisman Trophy winners. This feels, because like you had said, he brought Georgia with him, and he created a program that was based in physicality. But Oregon, they're ranked 3rd in the country, but I don't have as much concern about this game for Ohio State as I did at the beginning of the season. Watching Oregon through, 5 games through what would be 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if maybe that's because I've seen enough of Ohio State to where I feel confident with them against anybody not named Michigan, and only Michigan because of what's happened historically. But I look at a 3-point spread in favor of the Buckeyes, and I go, I don't know if I can do a little bit more there. Could you get me a little bit more to make that interesting, especially with the way Ohio State's played defensively, because Oregon's going to try to run the ball more.
Lanning doesn't have any win in the vicinity of this on his resume.
No.
He doesn't. They played Georgia in 2001 to start the season. That didn't go well. Last year they lost to Washington when Washington was ranked 7th and when they were ranked 3rd. He's got a bunch of wins. He's got Colorado wins when they were ranked.
He's got good wins.
That's probably his most, the one that people remember most is when Colorado came into Autzen last year and he whipped them 42-6. He buried Utah late in October last year, 35-6. They always take care of the rivalry game. But remember, in the bowl last year, they played Liberty, so they didn't even get like a big, cross-conference matchup there. And then in 2022, his first year on the job, when he took over for Mario Cristobal, they're smacked by Georgia in the opener 49-3. He's got a win over BYU that's decent, and then a couple of ranked losses to Washington and Oregon State. So he has not beaten Washington. And it's not... Washington to Oregon is certainly not what Michigan is to Ohio State. I'm not pretending that it is. But next to the Civil War game against Oregon State, that's the most important game he plays every year is the Washington game. Those two schools do not like each other. Obviously, in the new Big Ten landscape, they're going to be set up as rivals. That'll be the last game both teams play at the end of the year. They've been the two best programs in that part of the country over the last 25 years or so. And he's 0-3 in those games. He's lost 3 of them. So he's due for a win like this, but like you, Reese, it feels to me like what Ohio State does well will fit very well with some of Oregon's deficiencies.
Yeah, last week against Michigan, or I guess last Friday against Michigan State, their running back Jordan James had 24 carries. Now he had $166 and a touchdown on the ground, but it was like Ohio State just faced a pretty dominant ground attack and didn't have any trouble with it until their second teamers were in this.
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't mean to, as I'm saying all this, I'm not trying to poo-poo the 3rd ranked team in the country because I think they're really good. I think they're probably the 2nd best team in the Big Ten. But for everything I've seen from Ohio State, the strengths here for the Buckeyes match up really well for some of the weaknesses, to your point, for the Oregon Ducks. I mean, 2 picks for Dylan Gabriel last week.
He was reckless.
He's been good, but those kind of plays will get you killed against an Ohio State team that's going to jump. And it's going to be waiting to jump.
And everything they do is to the perimeter. So, like the one pick in the red zone for Gabriel last week was on an out in the end zone. He just didn't drive the ball to the outside the way that he needed to. They went up and down the field early in the season, but would fail in the red zone. No, there's no question that to this point they have disappointed based on what I thought that they would be. They have really one impressive win, and that's the Oregon State win. They were fine last week against Michigan State. Michigan State had a chance, but it also wasn't like bing bong bong, let's go. Ohio State has had some of that. We can be critical of some of the starts and some of the third down stuff. I mean, it's all nitpicky stuff, but like they also have a second half against Iowa where they leave no doubt. So they have those things. Oregon hasn't really had a half of football quite like that. If you're looking for tickets for the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series game at the Shoe, the Fan is giving away tickets to the Biggest Jackets fans. Here's how you can win a pair of tickets to the game. Go to 971thefan.com, describe what makes you the biggest fan, and upload pictures. The top 10 biggest fans, as decided by the fan selection panel, will win a pair of tickets to the game. Must be entered by 11:59 p.m. on October 13th. The game is Saturday, March 1st at the Shoe. The Jackets battle the Wings. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or on the Ticketmaster app. Lots of time between now and Eugene to fix all that is right for the Buckeyes, or rather all that is wrong or whatever ails. The Buckeyes got to go into that one feeling very, very good. I'm not sure how much time Zach Taylor has to fix the Cincinnati Bengals, who dropped to 1-4. How he goes about fixing it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
There's always time for the drive-thru deal. Because no matter how fast you are at making breakfast, McDonald's is faster.
Wake up to McDonald's breakfast and mix and match a classic sausage McMuffin, delicious sausage burrito, or crispy hash browns. Get any two for just $3. Order ahead in the app and pick up curbside. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Question for you. Would you rather pay $150 a month or $15 a month to work out with the same high-quality gym equipment? At Planet Fitness, you can get top-tier equipment for $15 a month. Plus, save $28 or more when you join now during our Strong Choice sale. Our weights weigh the same, you just don't pay the same. Enjoy free fitness training and 24-hour access at most clubs, all in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. See club for details.
It's officially hockey o'clock. The Jackets open up the regular season against the Wild. Live fan coverage starts Thursday night at 7:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Proud to be your home of the Blue Jackets. The Fan.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants to help ease your oil change anxiety with a few moments of automotive peace.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Create a safe sleep environment for your baby by using the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies are safest alone on their backs in an empty crib. Always place your baby on his or her back while sleeping, and be sure to use a firm sleep surface. Remember, room sharing without bed sharing is safest. For more information, visit childrenandyouth.ohio.gov/infant safe sleep.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bengals dropped to 1-4. Certainly desperate times when you think about 1-4. The game against the Ravens was so puzzling in that they led by 2 scores for much of it. It felt like they were in control until they weren't. ESPN had the Bengals with a 91% chance to win after they took the lead 38-28. They had every chance in overtime as well. Zach Taylor was available yesterday. Let's start there, Reese. His comments on, and the reason I want to start there is because I think what has happened in the league is there is this notion that anything from 50 yards and out is a gimme. And you're seeing teams, we saw at Kansas City the week before, basically playing for Butker to kick a 50-yard field goal to win it. Didn't really attempt to move the ball at all. He missed one, by the way, last night from a long ways out. And it just is surprising to me that the league is like, oh, yeah, this is a 53-yarder. It's a gimme, as opposed to trying to get closer when you have Joe Burrow. So Zach was asked about it yesterday. Here's what he had to say about the play calling in overtime.
I'm very reflective on things I can improve on. At the end of the day, the decision for me is we are in comfortable enough field goal range for Evan, and I don't want to do anything to disrupt that. And again, I'm accountable. I know that there's probably a lot of different opinions on how that could go, but at the end of the day, that's where it sits with me is you don't want to take any sort of negative play. Sometimes it can be a penalty. Sometimes it can be something getting disruptive on the play. And when I trust our kicker in that position to finish the game for us like he has countless times, and I'm not putting the way that kick went on him by any means, but again, in every situation is a little bit different. We've been in those situations before. We've been aggressive and thrown the ball and tried to close out games that way. And yesterday, I felt that's where it went. But again, always think about it a million times. What would I have done differently? And I'm comfortable with where it ended.
I get that. I also understand that, they're very comfortable with McPherson kicking. He was instrumental, obviously, when they got to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and how clutch he was. At the same time, even in the moment, I was questioning, that's a long field goal to basically just run it 3 times to try to kick. I mean, Burrow didn't miss on much. I think he was 30 of 39 in the game. He did have the one pick, which was costly, but other than that, he was 30 of 39. Chase was uncoverable. To me, it seems such a rare thing that something would go wrong, that you couldn't just do safe throws and get a little bit closer, but they didn't, and the end result was a 1-4 record. Zach, pretty adamant yesterday, the season is far from lost despite the record.
We're 5 games into the season, and so I know what the noise is. We're 1-4, and so we're accountable for all that. It's not good enough. We have too much talent on this team to be in the position we found ourselves in right now. But all we can do focusing forward is how do we beat the New York Giants? How do we have a great week? How do we get back on the winning track? You just look around the AFC, and there's plenty of opportunity there moving forward, and we just need to take advantage of it. We need to be the best version of ourselves, which we have not been yet. We've lost on a walk-off field goal now twice, and so we have to do more to take advantage of those opportunities, and I got to put us in a better position. Really, you look at it, there's a lot of talent on the team, and as the coach, you got to find ways to maximize that and make sure we're working off with wins, and I haven't done a good enough job of that.
The truth of the matter is that's not the real truth. Zach's done fine in terms of what they're doing off. It's Lou Anarumo and his defense. They can't stop anybody. Burrow's thrown for 300 in 3 straight games. He's second in the league in quarterback rating. Like, they've activated Jamar Chase. They're able to run the ball. There's nothing they really can't do offensively. It's really on the defensive side where they just can't get stops. And that's what's undone them. I will put this to you both. If you had to pick an AFC North team to be right now, not named the Baltimore Ravens, which one do you take?
I think I'd still be the Steelers. I mean, I'd still be the Bengals.
They're 3-2. Steelers are 3-2, right?
They are. I think I'd be the Bengals, because I still think in most games where you're not dealing with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow's performance gets it done. You're going to give up points, you're going to give up yards, but because there was on a touchdown pass that Lamar Jackson had, and he fumbled the snap, he picked it back up, he avoided Trey Hendrickson. Like, nobody else but maybe Mahomes is doing that. So I think a Burrow performance, I think that's duplicable across multiple weeks. And I don't think you're going to have to, you got Lamar Jackson one more time, but you got the Giants and you got the Browns. I think the Steelers are kind of just, that's what the Steelers are right now, what you saw Sunday night.
It's kind of pick your poison. Do you want a bad defense or a bad offense? So between the Bengals and the Steelers.
It's the NFL, I'll take a bad defense.
I'll always take the quarterback over the defense. Now, you're giving a built-in cushion, though, Cole, as a Steelers guy. You have a built-in cushion that you're 3-2. The Steelers' next 4, at Raiders, Jets at home, Giants at home, at Commies. So that's their next 4. Now, the Commies are mustard, and the Giants are playing really well, but the Jets are kind of a mess, and the Raiders are kind of a mess. So they could easily be 5-2. I think it's well within the expectation to beat the Raiders and to beat the Jets. Now you're talking about 5-2. That's a lot to come back from. The Bengals, on the other hand, they just really got to get to their bye week, I think, at 4-5. I think if they do that, so they're 1-4, that would mean they'd have to win. They'd have to go 3-1 in their next 4. So they are at Giants, at Browns, Eagles at home, at Raiders. That's their next 4 games, and then they've got at Ravens, at Chargers, Steelers at home. Their bye week is between the Chargers game and the Steelers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. If they're 4-2 in those 6, you're talking about being 5-6 at the bye week. You're fine. That's fine. Then it's Steelers at home, at Cowboys, at Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers to close it. So plenty of opportunity for them to make hay at the back end. I just think they need to be 5-6 at the break.
The Bengals are 1-4, but their point differential is only -5. And there are a couple teams right above them with point differentials of -4. Both of them are 3-2. So they're playing really competitive football. They just got to close out these games. Yesterday being paramount because they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter.
Did Joe Burrow getting sacked on first down with 90 seconds to go? Do you think that made it? Like it was he got sacked, he had an incomplete short, and then they just ran it on third down to just go to overtime. Did that for you? Because for me, it felt like Taylor was still coaching off of that. Like he was just like too concerned. He just kind of they get the gift from Lamar, at the beginning of the overtime, but Taylor just kind of went into his shell and said, "Oh no, we'll play it safe here." And it's like I didn't think, and I still don't think, with the Bengals this past Sunday, should have played it very safe in those moments because, again, a loss gets you to 1-4, so play to win would be how I would handle. I wish Zach Taylor would have handled that because, I still think a lot of this Cincinnati Bengals squad, but I'm also looking at their schedule for the rest of the season, and the only other offense I see like Lamar's is the Baltimore Ravens. So I think they're able to manage with a bad defense because Burrow and Chase elevate everything else.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would probably – the Ravens are going to win the division, and then after that it's just about scraps. And I think Cincinnati can certainly still make the postseason. Obviously, Pittsburgh can very much still make the postseason. Their schedule sets up that way for sure. We'll hit the real truth coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something.
Does it solve a problem?
It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco. Gotcha.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Haven, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to maryhaven.com today.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions.
today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
To Ohio State's a 3-point road favorite Saturday night. Buckeyes are at number 3 Oregon for a 7:30 p.m. kick. Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day will speak with the media at noon today. We'll carry those comments live on the Fan when he hits the podium. In the NFL last night, the Chiefs beat the Saints 26-13. Kareem Hunt had 102 yards on the ground and a touchdown. His second game back for KC since 2018. Chiefs and Vikings are the only two teams with a perfect record through 5 weeks. Week 6 begins Thursday in Seattle. The Seahawks host the 49ers. In baseball, the Tigers evened their ALDS yesterday with a 3-0 win over the Guardians in Game 2. Detroit's going to host Game 3 on Wednesday. Game 3 is in the NLDS tonight. Mets will host the Phillies. The Dodgers are at the Padres. This update sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday. Dom coming up at 10:33. Time for the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
Oregon, the Ducks, will be the biggest threat to Ohio State in the Big Ten for the next decade. Is that the real truth?
I would say it's the real truth if you say the next 5 years. I think in the next 5 years, they will be the biggest threat. And I say that because I think Michigan is taking maybe 3 or 4 steps back because of the one giant duplicitous step they took forward. But I do think Michigan will get the right. I don't believe Sharon Moore will be the coach at Michigan in 5 years. So I think Michigan will get aligned. I think they will get their money locked in. I think they'll get their NIL locked in. And I think it inevitably will revert back to the norm, which is that Michigan is the biggest threat in the Big Ten for Ohio State. But I think if you do, so I don't think it's the real truth. I think in the next 3 to 5 years, it's absolutely Oregon. And I don't see anything changing that. I don't think anything SC is going to do is going to change that. Certainly nothing James Franklin's going to do is going to change that. So 3 to 5 Oregon next decade. I think it's probably still Big Blue.
Yeah, I got to go with Oregon on that one, too. They're just a recruiting juggernaut, and I'm curious to see what happens with Michigan the rest of this season, how that's going to affect their recruiting. I can't pick USC with Lincoln Riley because they only play one side of the ball, and I don't ever foresee them getting rid of him in that contract. And so I'll go Oregon number 1, number 2, Notre Dame when they join.
Yeah, I think that's a good pull out of you there because, yeah, in a decade, there's probably going to be a team or two added to this conference. Mm-hmm. The phrasing there, I don't think is the real truth. I think in the next couple of years, Bo, to your point, yes. I think for the next decade, yeah, I think Michigan gets it right. I also think there's another team that might just come out of nowhere.
Who's capable of that? Is it Nebraska?
I thought
Are they the most capable of that?
I think.
Because here's what you need. You have to have an ability to recruit it. You have to have a place that is special. You have to have all of those things. And then you have to have NIL funding to take advantage of the transfer portal. Like Nebraska has those things. The one thing that's tough for them is the recruiting because it's such an outpost. But in terms of a team that could ascend to a level that it hasn't been in a very long time, I think as long as Franklin's at Penn State, there is a cement ceiling that they're going to hit there's nothing. So as long as he's there, like they're going to win a lot go 10-2 a lot, but I don't think they're ever going to be I don't know if he could ever be a bigger threat. I don't know that anybody could, honestly. This Ohio thing it's such a behemoth. But yeah, I don't know who that team could be. I think it's tough.
Do we also think it's more likely that there will be singular threats every year? That'll be bigger overall, maybe Oregon. But, I mean, obviously right now the biggest threat probably for Ohio State's, I guess I would still say Michigan because you've lost the last 3 to the rival.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that Michigan will be better then than they are now, I would think. So, yeah.
Alabama will play for the 2024 SEC Championship. Is that the real truth?
So, initially I thought, no way. I mean, their defense is so porous. Give up 34 to Georgia, all of that in the second half, or 30 of it in the second half, and gave up 40 at Vanderbilt. Couldn't get off the field when they tried. And I thought, well, there's no way. But then I looked at their schedule, fellas. So they get South Carolina this week. Then they're at Tennessee. Let's say they lose that and get their second SEC loss. Then it's Missouri, LSU, Mercer, Oklahoma, Auburn. They'll win all of those. So you're talking about 2 losses in the SEC. And if you remember the show yesterday, there is only one undefeated team in the SEC. There are only 3 teams in the SEC who are undefeated in conference. Texas A&M is 3-0. Texas is 1-0. LSU is 1-0. Everybody else already has a conference loss in that league. They've all already beaten each other up. So I think 2 conference losses might get it done in divisionless play. So I think it is the real truth. I think Alabama will play for the SEC title. If I was a betting man right now, I would say it's against Texas.
Oh, man, this one's tough because the schedules are so imbalanced in the SEC. Half of the teams play gauntlets, and the other half have basically a guaranteed 10-2 season at minimum. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that's not the real truth. I'm going to play the odds and say that Texas is one of the teams. In normal years, I would bank on Georgia, but they're one of the teams that actually has to go through a gauntlet. So I'll just take my chances and say Tennessee, Georgia, somebody else.
So Ole Miss has to post Georgia. Ole Miss has the easiest schedule of the teams with 1 loss who's got talent. They're at LSU this week. Then they're Oklahoma at home, at Arkansas, Georgia at home, at Florida, Mississippi State. So they should only lose 1 more game, at most 2. 3 wouldn't do it, though. I think you're going to have to go 2. You mentioned Tennessee. Tennessee's schedule, they got Georgia and Bama, so they're going to have to win one of those. So if Tennessee beats Bama and their only other loss is to Georgia, then that would probably be your one. Georgia's schedule, to your point, is insane. Georgia still has to go at Texas, at Ole Miss, and host Tennessee. So they're going to lose again.
I'll give you one more we're not talking about because they just housed Missouri and they only play 2 more tough teams. And their loss is out of conference, Texas A&M.
Well, you did it, and so let's do it. It's pretty easy. They're at Mississippi State. They get LSU at home. They're at South Carolina, New Mexico State, at Auburn, Texas. They are already 3-0 in SEC play, A&M is.
If they beat LSU, Texas is probably their only loss.
They could lose twice and still do it. You know, you lose 2 SEC games and still get in because I think all of them are going to have 2, except maybe Texas.
Yeah, for what it's worth, A&M's got the 4th best odds to win the SEC championship behind Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. Deshaun Watson will start more games for the Browns at quarterback than the rest of the quarterbacks on the Browns roster combined. Is that the real truth?
I think it is the real truth. I don't think you're going to see a quarterback change. You're definitely not seeing a quarterback change this week. We'll talk about the Browns coming up in 10 minutes. You're not going to see a quarterback change this week. I do think that they could go in another direction for that home game against Cincinnati if this week goes really bad in Philly. Like if it's a repeat of that, I think you could see him go in another direction. But I also think they could do something where we're going to let Deshaun sit and kind of recalibrate and then go back to him after the bye week. I think they could do that as well. They just have to make damn sure that they've given this every possible opportunity to succeed. I think they're running up against that right now. It feels like they've tried everything and it hasn't worked. And so I think it still is the real truth, but just barely. And honestly, the quarterback I think they need to see is probably Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And also, look, Jameis isn't old. Like, could Jameis be resuscitated by a Stefanski offense where you flip your head around and throw it just to this specific place the way that, some of these Sam Darnold and some of these other guys have? Maybe. I don't know, but I still think that the odds are in favor of Watson starting more than anybody else, but I think it's starting to flip in real time.
I'm going to say that's not the real truth because I hold this feeling throughout sports that when somebody's getting paid a bunch of money, the people paying the money do not want to see them sitting on the bench doing nothing. And so I don't know whose decision it would be, but if Stefanski says to bench him, if Andrew Berry says to bench him, I kind of think that the Haslams are going to step in and say, hold on, look how much money we're paying this. Like, he can't be useless. So I'm just going to err on that side, and I'm going to say that it's not the real truth.
As a Browns fan, this is the real truth. I think Watson's the guy until the end of the season. I just think that, and look, so I think, Cole, you have a good point there with the front office and the heads of the organization. They've got to see this through. Like this season, I think this is it. If he's a guy that they can, take into the future, or they just have to bench him next year. I also don't think I don't think Jameis Winston, maybe until the latter part of the season, until it's very evident that Deshaun Watson's not the guy. And I do believe there are people out there that think, oh, Deshaun Watson's still salvageable. I think there are those out there. I'm not one of them. I think you see this until I don't know, maybe January.
Some breaking news in the NFL. Adam Schefter reporting the Jets have fired head coach Robert Salah. So Bob Salah shown the door, which is a little bit of a surprise for me, but also maybe gives you the sense of urgency that they have there. Go ahead, Reese.
Who takes over as head coach? Because their offensive coordinator is?
Well, it can't be Nathaniel Hackett, can it?
Oh.
Can it?
All right, let me see who on that staff could do it. He might be the only one with head coaching experience.
Oh.
So their coordinators are, Hackett and Brant Boyer's the defensive team, or the special teams coordinator. Jeff Ulbrich is the defensive coordinator. Let me see if there's a guy in there too deep. Position coach who's been a head coach. No. No. I think it'll be Hackett then. I'm telling you, they turned the keys to the kingdom to Rodgers.
Let's throw this out there then for the final statement we'll make in this segment. The New York Jets will land Davante Adams before the trade deadline. Is that the real truth?
I think so. I think it's all in. I think they're as all in with Aaron Rodgers as can be. There's a guy I know who works up with the Browns now who was in New York at the time when Rodgers was acquired. And I said, my perception from the outside looking is that Woody Johnson just said, here are the keys to the kingdom, Aaron, do with it what you wish. And he said, yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close to it. So if Aaron Rodgers wants Davante Adams to be a New York Jet, then I'm guessing that there will be nothing to stop them from doing so. This has been a bitterly disappointing start to the season for the Jets. It's hard to imagine that it's on Bob Salah, though, for it. I mean, it's the offense that's undone them a little bit, and Rodgers has been brutal. And it's his guy who's calling the ball plays. So that thing's surprising to me, but they're definitely heading into Nathaniel Hackett territory for sure. There's nobody else on that staff who's been a head coach.
I'm going to say that's not the real truth because it just doesn't compute to me that you would fire your head coach and then make an all-in type of move like that. And, I mean, you could argue that, if you have Aaron Rodgers... Maybe the firing of
the coach is the all-in move.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess you could argue that if you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, then you're already all-in and you should be all-in no matter what. And then I'm like, well, then why fire the head coach? So that just... Something doesn't jive there, so I'm going to say no. But I kind of hope that they do for the sake of interest.
Yeah, I think it is the real truth. I think they land Davante Adams as soon as possible, and then I think that this becomes a Hackett-Rodgers co-coaching situation.
It's a racket.
Well,
it certainly does. Not
a great plan, but
they're so in on Rodgers. There's no way out. They're totally
make
in on it.
The call to Bill Belichick
with Rodgers' approval? You'd make that call. They tried hiring him years ago.
Didn't he write it on a Post-it note?
They tried hiring him years ago, and then he went to New England instead. He didn't want the job. Parcells tried making him coach the Jets years ago. So I don't know if the Johnsons owned the team at that point, but there's probably still some ill will there. I think they would definitely call him. It's just a matter of would Rodgers want that, and what does all of that look like? Because they're in a similar situation with the Browns in that they're all in They're ready to go. They just need the quarterback to go. Rodgers has been better than Watson, obviously, but at the same time, like, there's kind of only one path for them, and it gets ugly if it doesn't go well. Speaking of the Browns, 1-4, an absolute mess. Offensively, it's been historically bad. We'll get into it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Men, here are a few statistics about erectile dysfunction. First, half of men over age 50 have it, with even more of us affected as we get into our 60s and beyond. ED can also impact younger men, even in their 30s, which makes it one of the most pervasive conditions in medicine. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and statistics are one thing, but it's the emotional toll on relationships and the impact on a man's confidence and self-esteem that are the true tragedies of erectile dysfunction. This is why you need to get treated for your ED, but where you get treated is just as important as getting treated, because who you trust for your health care is critical. At Tri-State Men's Health, men's sexual health is our focus. Our providers are experts in treating ED, and we offer the complete range of treatment options with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can get your sex life back. So call us. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely, you can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Full inventory sale at Logan Services. Save up to $2,500 on a qualifying train system and ask us about tax credits. With a system for every home and budget, it's hard to stop a train with Logan Services.
A.J. Hawk won a national title, a Super Bowl, and a Lombardi Award, but his weekly appearance on Morning Juice Fridays at 8:33 is the real highlight of his career. If he tells you otherwise, he's lying.
Sponsored by FanDuel.
The Fan.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is here. It's the perfect time to replace those old, drafty windows before the cold sets in. As temperatures drop, you don't want to be stuck with windows that make your heating system work overtime because that will cost you money. My guys at Universal Windows Direct back everything up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Plus 0% financing for 60 months. Restrictions apply because they always do. Call them today, 614-502-5220, or go to uwd.com.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Low energy, brain fog, or bloating? Your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hello again, everyone. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud. Today, look for bright sunny skies with a high of 70. Chilly tonight with a low of 43 in Columbus. But if you are outside of the I-270 loop, you'll probably get down to the upper 30s on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow afternoon, going 70 for the high, 70 again on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we are brought to you by our great friends at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. On that side of things, breaking news in the National Football League. Robert Salah is out as the head coach of the New York Jets. Ian Rappaport calling it a stunning decision. Zach Rosenblatt in the New York area. He is a writer at The Athletic covering the Jets, saying that Jeff Ulbrich will be the Jets' interim head coach, so it will not be Nathaniel Hackett. I'm not certain that Ulbrich has any head coaching experience, but Zach Rosenblatt writing that he is beloved by the entire Jets roster and staff. The timing of this is also very interesting because the Jets are not on a bye. They're coming off of a loss in London to Minnesota. I think the more troubling loss was the home loss to the Broncos, where they lost 10-9, and the Broncos had negative passing yards all the way through the third quarter of that game. There's no bye week, so they are hosting Buffalo on Monday Night Football. That's their next time out, and then they go 6 days later at Steelers on Sunday Night Football, and then at Patriots. So that's their next three to kind of look at there. But a very strange timing, 5 games in, to pull the trigger on Bob Salah.
I wonder, did he fly a separate plane back to London? How was that?
Maybe
ride?
That long flight was it. Ownership was like, dude. Now, I don't think ownership probably would not be on the team plane. They'd probably fly private over there, would be my guess, but maybe not. I don't know. But that's the timing of that's stunning at 2 and 3.
If your coach is on that short of a leash, he probably shouldn't have even been the coach to begin the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's pretty wild to do it at this time and to not let him get him through this week or get to a bye week. But obviously, Woody Johnson and ownership felt like the timing was now. The other thing that you have to be reminded of, especially in that market, your antennas are always up in that market with the way that the media discusses your team. It's so ultra competitive. You hear everything, and I think he's probably annoyed by all of the stuff that he hears with Rodgers, the looks Rodgers gives Salah, and so forth and so on, and that's what leads to this change. But it's a pretty stunning one. One that was not stunning was the fact that Kevin Stefanski said post-game on Sunday that Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. He was asked yesterday in his Monday press conference why. He says Watson still gives the team the best chance to win.
Deshaun can play better. He will play better. He's had some obviously good moments, and then there's times that we have to play better around him. But he's committed to getting better. We're committed as an offense to putting our guys in position to succeed. This is not a one-person type of deal. When we're playing how we're playing on offense, we need everybody to do their job and do their job better. And I look at myself and how I can do that. But I believe in Deshaun. I believe in what he brings to this offense, and I believe he will play better.
They are historically bad offensively. They went a stretch, guys. They went one of 13 rather on third down. The one they got was in the fourth quarter. So really they were 0 of 12 on third down in the game against Washington. They have had a stretch of 19 straight third downs that they could not convert. If you put the Jets game and the Raiders game together, that is historically inept. You almost have to try to be that bad. Their yards per play is the worst in the league. Their third down ratio is obviously worst in the league. There are a host of problems. They can't really block it. Their quarterback can't really throw it. There are finite issues here that have to be addressed. The problem is when you hear Kevin give these answers, it's a tough listen as a Browns fan because you're like, man, yeah, but what? So here's an example of this. Here's Coach Stefanski on the coaches having to make the offense better.
I think we have to look at everything, how we put it together, really just take a long, hard look at what we're doing. And again, I think it goes back to any success on offense comes from giving the guys a plan that they can go execute at a high level. I believe in the coaches we have. I believe in the players we have. And we will get it fixed together. I know that the guys are working hard. I know that we can give them concepts that they can operate at a high level, those type of things. But it's a constant thing in the NFL, making sure that your guys are in position to go make plays. And we'll work at that this week.
All right, Reese, I'm going to empower you to be I'm assistant to the traveling secretary with the Cleveland Browns. I will answer your questions and empower you to ask the questions that are on your mind in regard to the start and anything else you see fit. Go ahead.
So I understand Nick Chubb's back to practice, and I get the sense that you would like to have him as an organization back onto the field as soon as possible. Not saying he's going to get 10, 12 carries against the Philadelphia Eagles, but if he's able to get in and you give him 5 or 6 carries, wouldn't it be worth the conversation to Watson about getting under center and reverting this Cleveland offense back to more what it was last season?
My answer to that would be yes, it would be. And I think that's where Kevin is. I don't know if he'll get there. I should say, I don't know if that's where he is. That's where I would be. Because I think what he has abandoned is his principles in order to make this quarterback work. And the reality is that this quarterback in his own, what they thought would be like a comfortable place for him, primarily out of the shotgun, primarily throwing on first and second down, he's not comfortable there. So at the very least, you got to get back to doing one thing right. And this operation, in the old Stefanski way, with Bill Callahan in the run game having a heavy, heavy hand and having a lot of say, was an operation that, with their 5th and 6th tackles, with 5 different quarterbacks last year, with no Nick Chubb, won 11 games. So you have got to get back to doing that first. Because right now, if you ask the question, ask the question, what is one thing the Browns do well offensively? I'll wait. They don't do anything right now well. Nothing. So get back to doing one thing well and just try to find a way to win a game, and don't worry about trying to be a team who can hang with the Ravens or the Chiefs or anybody else at the top of the AFC.
No, scoring points, scoring that many points, I should say, as the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to be as innovative offensively as the Kansas City Chiefs should not be the idea for the Cleveland Browns right now, and that's obvious to everybody that's unfortunately had to watch this offense. But it does seem to me that they can make it a lot easier on themselves if they just revert to an offense that's comfortable with the play caller more so than the quarterback, because what's been comfortable for the quarterback has not worked for the offense. No. So you pivot, but can you have that question with 4?
You have to have that. It's beyond that. It's beyond. You just need to have that. One thing I will dispel right now is there is a narrative going on, and I've seen it from some of the national people, that the Haslams are forcing them to play Deshaun Watson. That is just not true. I even saw ESPN reporter Kimberly Martin saying Jimmy's quarterback. Andrew Berry, Paul DePodesta, and Kevin Stefanski went to the Haslams and pleaded their case to acquire Deshaun Watson. This was not the Haslams' idea. That's not how they run the business. They are not forcing anybody to play Deshaun Watson. That is lock, stock, 2 smoking barrel. That's not what they do. Is it possible that Kevin and Andrew and Paul are saying we've got to make this work with this guy? Yeah, very. But it's not coming from ownership that they have to play him. That is just not true. And I've seen that, and it does not compute at all. It's just not reality in terms of the way that situation is being run. Uncle Dom coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote.
On major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty, and Social Security benefits, too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
Ignore it, because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Breaking news. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Everyone has that one goal. That thing they want to prove. Not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
All right, time for a little Tuesdays with Uncle Dom as he joins on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. What have you been up to?
Oh, I'm getting ready. This is a big week. It's the Italian Festival week.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, why don't you come down this year?
I got to get there.
Why don't you come down this Sunday?
God.
Because I'm off Sunday, and you could come down, and we'll walk around, and I'll introduce you to the people.
Oh, this is my favorite thing.
Can you come down Sunday?
I gotta. Let me check the schedule. I gotta see.
You could have some of Uncle Vinny's pizza.
I love Vinny's
Carfagna boys and their sausage. Oh, that sausage!
When you hit up the Carfagna sausage, that's when you're living. You get over there, you see that. I mean, that's
the church has the spaghetti and meatballs.
Of course, it does.
Oh, and then they got the cannolis. What else is there?
That's all you need in life,
you know. Hey, I heard you driving into work.
Go ahead.
And let me just say this.
Okay.
I feel horrible for Browns fans.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. Cleveland is the ruination of quarterbacks. That's what it's become. It has become the ruination of.
Yeah.
I go way back. Tim Couch was a pretty good quarterback, and they ruined him. I mean,
yes.
I mean, it's like, yes, Deshaun does not look good, but I'm telling you what, that Olay blocking is not getting it done.
No,
look out!
it's not.
Look, the lookout blocks we call it. It's awful. the guy's punch drunk.
Yeah, he's the offensive line play isn't great. He is also missing a lot of things that would make it look better. Look, I led the show with this. I'm curious your thoughts as a Central Ohioan, and I know that you grew up a Bengals fan, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, I root for both of them. I root for Ohio, and
I just mean, like, were your kids, like, think about Damo. When Damo was a kid, where did he lean NFL-wise?
Well, probably neither, because I didn't root for either. I mean, I was in the middle. Mm-hmm. We're all Buckeye in our house.
Sure.
And so that's where he's at. I don't even know if he has a team, because I didn't force sports on him. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
But you know what I'm saying? But it's like, this is still a Cleveland Browns town.
It is.
The years of Shula and the bad Bengal teams really turned me off.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought Cleveland, and it's heartbreaking because, and I know what you say, but I would take Baker Mayfield here in a New York second. I didn't think
Here's
that,
what I'll,
and I know there was, and I know you're connected and I'm not connected, but I just know this. He got humbled and whatever with the way it happened, but that dude is playing at a high level, and I thought he could play at a high level, and Cleveland missed the boat with him.
Here's what I would say. I would say that if Baker stayed there, he would never have gotten to where he is right now with Tampa Bay in terms of the way he's playing. And I actually think if anyone should have regret over that, it's probably Carolina, because they cut him. In the middle of the season, they cut him.
Look what he did for the Rams that one game.
Right. So he went to the Rams and got rehabilitated, believed in himself again, was humbled, all of those things. There was so little trust between him and the front office, and not the front office, the coaching staff, and more importantly, his receivers at the time that his tenure ended in Cleveland. That was Jarvis and Odell.
But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of it's his. Because Stefanski I was there and lived it. He went from this is what I would say about Baker, and I've said it many, many times. He is a front runner, and I mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean negatively. When everyone believes in him, and he believes that everybody believes in him, he can be great. But as soon as he senses that somebody doesn't, he falls off a cliff, and he becomes petulant. And quite honestly, by the end in Cleveland, it was really bad in terms of just the way he went about his business. Just was not a professional at all. And so I think all of it led to that point. I think I'll tell you this, Tommy. If Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry were there when he was drafted, I think that it would have worked, because he would have been their guy and he would have believed in them and trusted in them completely. But because they weren't, and because there wasn't trust on either side, it's almost like this was the inevitable. I think the one that's more painful even than for Browns fans right now is Flacco.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that hurts worst.
Well, and the thing is, here's I know everybody's saying burn it down, get rid of Stefanski, get all. We have seen this movie so many times.
Yeah.
And the changeover. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. No one gave Pittsburgh a chance. How many head coaches have they had in the history of their organization? Stability.
They've only had 2. They've had 3 in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Dom, yours too.
Yeah. Stability. And there's something to be said for that. And Cleveland, it's just, I don't know, man. It's so sad because they have the defense to be a championship team, and the offense that we thought was going to be all this, it's just not. And I don't even know if Deshaun is salvageable now. And then you look down the road in Cincinnati, that defense, they can't win nothing. I mean, that's a joke, that defense.
Get one stop. I mean, Burrow's been incredible, and they can't get off the field. I'd still, of all of those teams, including Pittsburgh at 3-2, give me the team with the quarterback who can spin it, and I'll take my chances.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you what. That was a big win for Baltimore.
Huge.
That was a huge win for Baltimore. So, but you know what? I did a take the other day, and I said if we could take the Bengals offense and match it with the Browns defense.
Baby.
Baby, I was hoping the governor could say, here's what we're doing.
Make it so.
We're going to make this happen, and we're going to have one team because they'd win a Super Bowl. But thank God we've got the Buckeyes. And I'm going to tell you.
Are you going?
No. You know what? That's not my cup of tea out there.
Pretty boy Adam King's going out there?
Yeah, he can have that. That is not my cup of tea.
You thrive out there.
Not with those. Not with that scene. Come on.
Yes, you would love it. You'd meet so many people.
I don't need to meet. I don't need to meet all that kind of stuff. I know.
They would love you.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. I know what's out there.
Great Italian-American center of the United States.
Give me a break. No, it's here. We're going to have... Here, would you like a cup of coffee? I mean, I know what's out there. No. Here,
good coffee.
Let me tell you what.
Stumptown Roasters.
Let me tell you what. I don't like all the flash. Donuts. I don't like
There's a place called Voodoo Donuts, Tommy, that you would love in downtown Portland.
I am not going. Here's the bottom line.
Sad. I hate to see it. I like when you explore something new.
I did. You know what? I'll go to New Orleans and be with the vampire people. I've got no desire to be out there with that nonsense. And I will give them some respect. You know, you and I used to talk all the time. We said this was the most overrated team in America. Yeah. That they were not physical. Ohio State had owned them up until 3 seasons ago.
And then they punched us in the mouth.
I give credit to their coach. He brought SEC football, Big Ten football. They are a physical team. But I I look back to what Urban Meyer did to him in the national title game. I look at what Tress did to him in the Rose Bowl. Mm-hmm. I look to the way Ohio State dominated this team. Now, I'm glad Ohio State faced adversity on Saturday. I think the fans, man, I mean, I love the Ohio State fans. They're wonderful. But they were jumping off that bandwagon on Saturday.
Pretty quick.
Oh, this team's terrible. They're overrated. This isn't the third-ranked team in the country. I mean, they faced adversity, and they found a way to come back, Bo. They kept their poise. You know, when you turn the ball over like that in the first half, and you're only leading 7-0, that got a lot of – and that was the craziest Saturday I've seen in a long time, with the upset specials that were going all around. There was something in the water, and it could have gone south for Ohio State. And I love this Will Howard kid. This guy is a gamer. And
he's going to he can't turn it over, though, Saturday.
No, you can't do it. But you know what? Yeah. It's good that they did it. I think they needed to face adversity.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You see what the team's made out of. If I'm Ryan Day, I'm going, you know what? I didn't like the way we played in the first half, but we kept it together. We made adjustments, and really, all they did was clean it up. Turnovers are a great Turnovers and injuries are the equalizer.
I have a homework assignment for you as we get you out of here.
Yeah.
Before, I need you to watch the Sopranos documentary on HBO.
My daughter saw it, said it's amazing.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So you need to watch that. Got to watch that. And then I need you to start watching the Netflix doc on Vince McMahon.
Oh, I heard that.
Because you got a lot of McMahon tendencies in you.
I heard that.
So I think it'll be a lot like looking into a mirror.
I don't think so. Some of the stuff that this dude was into.
Buddy. Jeez. At one point he goes, I regret nothing. And I'm thinking, really? Nothing?
Nothing?
Not any of it, huh? It's all good?
You know, whatever. I mean, the man did take the stink face numerous times from Rikishi, you know.
He definitely did.
Oh, my goodness. Did. So did the Hits King. God.
The Hit King did, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely.
Poor Pete. God rest his soul. But can you imagine?
No, I don't think I can.
Rikishi. That thing coming at you? Holy shit.
Jim Hurt put you on one of those one time, too.
No, happened. He didn't. He did not. Don't even go there. Don't start that up. There's a couple guys out there, and if they're hearing me on, one of them is that Olaf Roa gentleman that busted my Tommy John.
I remember him.
Yeah, he popped my Tommy John. And I was fighting him in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when we did that thing called Dare Dom, remember? Basically,
I remember.
I was a modern-day Super Dave. It was basically beat the hell out of Dom every week.
I remember it well.
Remember, I fought the guy in the ring. I broke fire. Yeah.
I liked when the dogs attacked you.
Wind, huh?
I like when the dogs attacked you.
Yeah, remember that one? That was a great one. Yeah, here.
When you stood there and dogs attacked you. I thought that was very fun.
The guy goes, this dog is known for its biting and its power. It could crush a bone, and it's going to bite your arm. Just don't go. The guy goes, whatever you do, don't fall down because he will go for your neck. Oh, great. Yeah. Who thought that was a good idea?
You did, sir. You did.
I just did what the people wanted. They said, we want to see Dom Tiberi get beat up.
Jeez. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
I know you're out there. I'm still waiting on you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
Little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bo Bishop here for my friends at Diamond Cellar. Ready to pop the question but don't know where to start? Visit Diamond Cellar's After Hours on October 17th for a night out with a DJ, drinks, and exclusive discounts on engagement rings. And a chance to win OSU or CBJ tickets. Diamond Cellar's After Hours event, October 17th on Sawmill Road.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Shop Meijer for monster deals and spooky savings this week. Save on red or golden delicious, Empire, Fuji, Gala, and Macintosh apples. Mix and match and fill your tote bag for 79 cents a pound. From creepy to just plain silly, our selection of kids' costumes are 25% off. And Halloween snack-size non-chocolate candy is only $3.49 per bag. Shop these frighteningly good deals and more in-store or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Common Man and T-Bone.
I like that we're not the ugly person.
We're not hideous.
Well, I know.
We're not good looking.
I am very below average, but I'll thank you for saying I'm not hideous.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
APCO, windows, siding, and decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student-athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I've had to be versatile my whole football career. Of course, I'm a defensive end, but I've also played special teams and even played fullback. Whether I'm blocking or tackling, I've got to be ready for any job out there, which is why I love the versatility in Kubota's BXB and L Series tractors. There's no task too big or small with Kubota tractors from Green & Sons. Visit greenandsons.com today, or stop by their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville, and get yourself a Kubota tractor that works as hard as I do.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers, the people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Want to know anything about the fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
producers, co-hosts, friends. Some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
On Monday, NBA insider Shams Charania announced he's leaving The Athletic to join ESPN. Quote, "I am honored to join ESPN as the company's senior NBA insider. I can't wait to be part of an incredible group of colleagues at ESPN and serve the sports audience worldwide." Charania joined The Athletic in August of 2018 after serving as Yahoo Sports NBA insider from 2015 until 2018. Front Office Sports reported NBC and Amazon were very interested in Charania's services as well. Thing or not a thing?
All right. I'm asking because I don't know, and I'm curious if you two do. So he was the Yahoo Sports National NBA insider starting in 2015. That's 9 years ago. That would put him at 21 years of age because he's 30. Yep. Is that right? That he's 30 years old?
Correct.
I know that Woj was like his mentor. How did he become an insider?
I think he's told this.
Does anybody have the answer for that?
To a couple,
like at that age,
of podcasts where in Chicago, he went to Loyola in Chicago, and I think he would just be around AAU tournaments. He would be around NBA, like their draft combine, and he would just create relationships. And he built it into an empire.
At that age. And isn't Woj just kind of bitter with him, right? Like there was something like just anybody but Shams, like that type of thing when he left ESPN. Is that true too? Or is that all nonsense?
I don't know about that. I know that Woj was so scared of getting shamsed that he didn't tell his bosses until he told his bosses.
Right.
Like he didn't give them any notice because he was so worried about someone scooping that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it's good for him. I don't know who else would be in this world, though. Like, there were only two of them. Like, who is ESPN competing against for these services? Themselves, right? Like, Windhorse kind of does this. Ramona Shelburne kind of does this. Who else out there kind of does this?
I know Schefter wanted to be, but I don't think there's really anybody.
If Schefter did this, he could not survive life. You could not do it.
And I think this is not a thing because Shams already has such a huge following that I don't think the NBA fan is real concerned with this because they were already following his work. And so who he's reporting the news for, I think that is of little concern to NBA fans. I think that they're already following him anyway, so I'm going to say not a thing.
I'm going to tell you something else, too, and I've said this for a long time. Who breaks the news isn't as important as who shapes it. So what ESPN is going to have to do with him to justify the salary is they're going to have to do with him what they did with Woj, which is make him an information shaper, not just an information breaker.
Tell you what, he's a handsome man, so it'll work on television.
Yeah.
This from Pete Thamel. Alabama junior defensive tackle Jahim Otis will redshirt his season and enter the transfer portal. We're at week 6 of the college football season. Otis started 13 games in his first 2 years at Alabama, was a top 40 overall recruit upon his arrival in the class of 2022. The 6'5", 325-pounder played 25 combined snaps against Georgia and Wisconsin and averaged 16 snaps a game in the 4 games he's played this season. He told ESPN about his decision, quote, "Getting the reps and looks that I'm getting, I feel like it's better for me to move on to somewhere new." He also said he didn't play in the Vanderbilt game because he's dealing with a minor knee issue, and he missed spring camp because of 3 surgeries, one to his shoulder, his knee, and his ankle. He'll finish out the semester at Bama and is on track to earn a degree at the end of the calendar year, the school year. Thing or not a thing?
Initially I was going to say thing until you got to the second to last statement where you said he's dealing with minor knee issue and missed spring camp because of 3 surgeries, shoulder, knee, and ankle. Wow, that is a lot of wear and tear on a young man's body. So look, if he was recruited at Bama, he's a top 40 player. There's a ton of talent there. He will get another chance somewhere else, but I do understand why maybe they moved off of him in terms of just his availability not being there and also why he would want a fresh start as well. So I get it. I'm going to say not a thing, though, because that amount of injuries, that's a lot. 3 surgeries in 1 spring, that's a full day.
I'm going to say this is a thing for a different reason because a lot of teams in college football nowadays rotate their defensive lines. A lot of them go 2, maybe even 3 deep. I know Texas goes really deep with their defensive line.
Yeah.
And so that's a good opportunity for freshmen to see the field early. And when they're used to seeing the field they probably think that they're going to develop into the full-time starter by their junior, senior year. And then when they get to their junior, senior year and they're still in a rotation, I wonder if any sort of like seniority kicks in where they think that, hey, I earned the spot my freshman year. How come I'm not the guy my junior year, senior year when all the guys above me have graduated or gone to the NFL or whatever? So I do question this and what this means. And part of the reason that he's probably losing time is because they got a guy named LB Overton who was a transfer from A&M. So they're still working the portal themselves. I do think this is a thing, especially at that position.
It's just remarkable that anybody would be advising him. Yeah, sure, you're dealing with kind of major injuries to areas of note for a person that large. That would be the reason you're diminished this season. But if you can get healthy and come back for one more year, you'll be a stalwart on this defensive front. Instead, it's no, just take your ball and go home. Yesterday afternoon, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia tweeted, "For NIL inquiries, hit my agent." And he lists his agent's phone number. Vandy, we turned. Thing or not a thing?
Good for him. I mean, he kind of won a Saturday in the fall, which is kind of the beautiful thing about college football is that on any given Saturday, right? So good for him. Good for them. I don't necessarily think that this means anything long-term for Vandy or for him, and I'm guessing more losses will come. But on a given Saturday night, they had themselves a night, and this kid can take full advantage of NIL. I'm for it.
This is so funny. This reminds me of when Jose Canseco a handful of years ago, he kept tweeting out like his assistant's phone number because he wanted her to arrange some sort of hunting of Sasquatch expeditions.
I missed that.
Yeah, Jose Canseco's Twitter account is a fun time. It was really good in like 2018-19. I'm going to say this is a thing. I think that he can ride this wave. A couple guys in the NCAA tournament, I forget which team it was because there are so many upsets now. They're so hard to keep track of. Because
there's the one out of Michigan. Who was the small school from Michigan?
I know. I can't think of it.
It was Oakland.
Oakland?
Yeah.
Oakland, yeah.
There you go. So the Oakland kid, I know that he was turning NIL deals seemingly overnight. I think
it was Jack Golke for UFOS and TurboTax.
That's right. So I think that he can kind of ride this wave for a little bit of time here. I think this has an expiration date. But for now's the week to do it. So I'm going to say that's a thing.
All right, there you go. We will blitz the NFL. Final hour of the program coming up next. Jay Morrison on the Bengals side of things at 11:33. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote.
On major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty and Social Security benefits, too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
Ignore it, because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Fox Tonight is so good, it's criminal. Starting with a new episode of Fox's must-watch mystery series.
I'm gonna kill you!
Murder in a Small Town. Then,
how does the defendant plead?
It's the season premiere of the critically acclaimed drama, Accused.
Do you have any idea what this has cost me?
Featuring extraordinary guest stars every week. Felicity Huffman, William H. Macy, and many more.
Tonight starting at 8 on Fox 28.
With so much happening every day,
ABC 6 News is on your side, helping you understand the events that impact your community.
Do you believe Columbus City Schools is in a PR crisis?
Central Ohio's most experienced team of reporters, persistent in getting answers to the questions you're asking.
Are you worried about how people are going to react?
And when you need us, ABC 6 News is on your side, finding solutions.
6 on your side, they're the ones willing to answer the phone.
You can count on ABC 6 News to be on your side.
You want an easy way to feed your friends? You get a Jersey Mike's catering box. You want an exciting radio idea? You get me. Like this. There's a Jersey Mike's catering box off the coast of Corsica that needs rescuing. Me and a team of mercenaries go in, barrel rolling past the sleeping guard, and we find the catering box in a secret bunker. I say, men, let's get these 12 subs home. But they're already eating them. That's the problem with mercenaries. You can't trust them. The Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing kit. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable. And one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got our first NFL coaching change of the season, and it's not even week 6. The Jets fired Robert Salah earlier this morning after a 2-3 start to the season. Defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich will reportedly serve as the interim. Gang Green lost in London last Sunday to the Vikings. Minnesota is one of 2 5-0 teams in the NFL along with Kansas City. Week 6 is going to begin on Thursday with the Seahawks hosting the 49ers. In college football, number 2 Ohio State heads to Eugene to battle number 3 Oregon Saturday night at 7:30. Hear from Ohio State's head coach today at noon. We'll carry Ryan Day's weekly press conference live on the Fan when he takes the podium. In baseball Tuesday, a pair of Game 3s in the NLDS. Both of those series are tied at a game apiece. The Mets host the Phillies at 5:08. At 9:08 tonight, the Dodgers are at the Padres. Tomorrow at 3, the Tigers host the Guardians in the ALDS. This update sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday. You heard the handsome update anchor report the news there that Bob Salah is out in New York. A couple of things statistically. This from Ben Solak. Since 2001, when Salah was hired in New York, and remember, he's defensive slant. He was a defensive coordinator in San Francisco. His defenses were first in points per drive, first in EPA per play, and third in success rate. So despite the fact that they've had a bunch of different quarterbacks through that time who have played to varying levels of success, he did what he was hired to do. Defensively, they were elite the time that he was there. I think the firing of Robert Salah is strange, at the very least. Obviously, a power struggle between him and Rodgers won that, and you get it. But, Salah's done his job. It's not on his end. They hired the coordinator that Rodgers wanted. Nobody else was hiring Nathaniel Hackett. They hired him because Rodgers wanted him. So you turn over the keys to the franchise to Rodgers, this is kind of what you get. One other thing statistically that jumped out at me this morning, the NFL side of things, Mike Clay with this, an absurd 45% of passes directed at Amari Cooper have qualified as off-target this season. So he continues, we haven't seen an off-target rate that high for a player with 40-plus targets since at least prior to 2011. So I think the other thing that's happening in Cleveland, in addition with Watson struggling, is he is trying to force feed Amari and at times misses others who are open because of it. So a host of problems certainly up in Cleveland. Time to blitz the NFL. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
All right, Cole, you're up first on this one. I believe I had that. What did you have from last weekend in the NFL?
I believe I had that the Saints were, in fact, fake news to begin this season. It was fun. They became kind of folk heroes for all of 2 weeks, but what you saw week 3 and week 4 did not look like weeks 1 and 2, and then here in week 5, it didn't look that great last night.
Reese?
I believe I had what Jaden Daniels is going to do to the Cleveland Browns. He's the quarterback that Cleveland wished Deshaun Watson was. I mean, he's a lot younger. He can throw the ball faster.
Yeah, Deshaun was that quarterback. He was that quarterback in Houston. He was that guy.
Is no longer, but Jaden Daniels is legit. The Commanders are legit.
I had that a couple of NFC teams were a little better than their records would lead you to believe. Both of them won or covered last week. Atlanta certainly has it figured out with Cousins and the offense, and you saw that. It just took him to believe in his lower body again. He does now, and they are going to be a team to deal with. And same is true of Chicago. Caleb Williams got it humming in the loss to Indy. They've been humming ever since. They took care of business in Carolina. I know they go across the pond this week to take on Jacksonville, but Chicago heading in the right direction. They've activated DJ Moore. They've found a connection between the two of those. Swift giving them something. I like that Chicago team being one of disruption as the season goes along. What didn't you have, Cole?
I've had a hot take basically my entire life that has not been well received. But for whatever reason, and maybe it's my generation. I was born in 1999, but whenever I see old highlights of John Elway and Shannon Sharp and the Orange Crush defense, I never liked those old Broncos uniforms. I don't know what happened between then and now. Those Broncos uniforms, those throwbacks that they wore over the weekend were probably the greatest uniforms I've ever seen.
You want to know why it is? I'm going to tell you why it is.
Please.
Because in those days, the NFL uniform suppliers were not uniform, okay? So you could go to whatever supplier you want, Nike or Spot Built or whatever. There's a bunch of different suppliers of uniforms in those days. And so because of that, they did not have to have uniform shades of orange or navy blue or all these other things. So as the NFL went with Reebok and then eventually Nike, what those companies do is they push one blue. So if you're going to be navy blue, historically, you had to be this navy blue. And the old uniforms, the ones that were worn in the 80s, whether it's the Seahawks or the Broncos or the Buccaneers, think of all the different variations of greens and blue and all of those. And oranges. Like the Orange Crush is different than the Creamsicle, right? It's different than the Browns orange or the Bengals orange because they all had unique uniform palettes as opposed to being uniform. So that's why when you see them, they jump off the screen. It's like, my God, that's gorgeous. And those are perfect. Those are great. That's what they should wear all the time.
Glad I brought it up.
That's why. That's why that's that way.
I didn't have the Steelers losing to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Now, Justin Fields played pretty well. But, Dak Prescott rebounded from a really bad interception that I think CeeDee Lamb was like screaming at him about.
Yeah.
But then was able to, last seconds there for Dallas, who I didn't have. I said they were cooked. I don't think they're cooked yet.
I did not have the San Francisco 49ers losing 2 games in the first 5 where they led by 10-plus points in the fourth quarter. But that's happened twice now. They lost again to Arizona. They are 2-3. I know they've had injuries, but not at the amount of injuries that would lead that talented of a roster to be 2-3. And Purdy's been amazing. It's everything else that's the problem, and they're not clutch. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco, but as good as they are, this should not be the case. Player who impressed the most this weekend, Cole, who do you got?
Trevor Lawrence is alive. I can't quit this guy. He was one of the best college football players I have ever seen in my entire life, and he's gone to the NFL and just been really kind of boring. And a turnover machine, and he had an interception over the weekend because he has to, because that's all he's been doing. But 371 yards and yards per attempt, basically at 11. That was a really strong performance from Trevor Lawrence.
Joe Flacco, I'll just stay in the same game. 33-44, 3 touchdowns, 359 yards passing. He's got the best quarterback rating in the league right now.
I went Flacco, too. Incredible in relief the previous week. He was great in this game, even though they lost. There's a professionalism to him that is missed, certainly up north. The other guy I'll mention is Pat Surtain, who, single-handedly has Denver's Orange Crush defense back. He had a 100-yard pick-6 in this win that they had over the Raiders. He is a super-duper star. Player who disappointed, Cole, who do you got here?
I was not even aware of this on Sunday until I was talking to Bodie yesterday, just talking about the NFL. He goes, "Did you see that Josh Allen went 9 for 30?" I said, no. Yeah. Josh Allen, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, he was mine. I'm also going to give a shout out to me for going 7-7 in my NFL picks. That's not acceptable. That's an unacceptable performance out of you, Eric.
I'm celebrating 7-7, and you're
unreal.
You're repentant. You're 7-7. I think 2 of the 4 quarterbacks in the AFC North, Justin Fields for different reasons than Deshaun, but I do wonder if Fields didn't quite play good enough to make them not question putting Russell Wilson back in. He had a hell of an opportunity here. just some of the carelessness that he had. He put the ball on the ground again in the game against Dallas, and one of those ones that was just kind of unforced. If he could, I really believe in him, and if he could have played a little better, but my guess is he didn't play quite good enough to where they won't revisit putting Russell Wilson in. And then Deshaun Watson is it's as bad as can be, and I don't know what they do to fix it. I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't know that there is any fixing it. But he missed a lot of easy stuff. Yeah, their offensive line is not great, but there are blitz beaters that are out there. There are stunt beaters that are out there, and they're not hitting on any of that stuff at all. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Cole, who do you got?
I thought it was a pretty solid win by the Cardinals over the weekend in San Francisco.
Sure,
I know that the Cardinals are, I know that the 49ers are now below 500, but still generally a talented team, of course, dealing with injuries. And regardless, they were down 13 and a half, and the Cardinals rallied back in the division on the road. Jonathan Gannon, I'll give that one to you for sure.
It's Andy Reid for me. I mean, you're sitting there bringing guys 2 weeks removed from sitting on their couch. Like Kareem Hunt giving him 26 carries. He's rushing for a buck and change, and then you're having your 35-year-old tight end do laterals and then taking direct snaps. Like, you're laughing at all of us, it feels like, because you've got a wizard at quarterback, and your team's 5-0.
He was mine, too, just from the amount of fun he's having.
He has to be having the best time ever.
Oh, what the hell? Let's throw it to Juju Smith-Schuster for 100. Let's give him 130. He hasn't done that since 2020. Kareem hasn't run for 100 yards since 2020. Let's rely on these guys. Hey, Kels, go ahead. You can throw laterals underhand like somebody throwing a ball to an official to spot the ball. Go ahead. You can do that in live play. No big deal. He's just laughing through all of it. You can tell he's having the time of his life coaching this team, and they're not getting great play out of Mahomes. So it's one of those things that's stupefying. I will continue to give shout out to Kevin O'Connell though as well. Sam Darnold was not good in the game across the pond, but they were good enough to stay undefeated. Having a chance to be around him a little bit when they had the joint practices in Cleveland, there's a lot to like about the way that guy carries himself. And he's got an operation there. They've got a culture and they've got an operation. Top three teams right now, Cole, who do you have?
I'm not in love with any of these teams. I'm in like with all three of them. I'll go Vikings, Chiefs, and this show's favorite team, the Commanders.
I got Chiefs, Vikings, Ravens.
It's really tough for me so the teams I consider, the two are no-brainers. They're both undefeated. You got to give them their flowers. The two that I considered three teams for three. I considered the Ravens, as Reese mentioned. I think they're the most problematic because of the quarterback and the way that Lamar is playing. So I think they're the most problem. They're the team that if them and these others were all playing, and by the way, one of the others will play this week as Baltimore takes on Washington this week. So I considered Washington here. And the other one I considered here is Houston. I do think something to watch for in Houston is the Nico Collins injury. I've not seen a report early this week on it, but when he was in the game, they were unstoppable. When he went down, their offense came back to earth. He leads the NFL in receiving yardage. Him and CJ is lights out. And I think if he's healthy, of the teams I'm talking about the Ravens, Houston, and Washington, I think Houston has the highest ceiling. But I'm very curious how that Nico Collins injury happens and how they manage it. Super Bowl right now, Cole, who do you got?
You have to make a deep playoff run and lose before you make a deep playoff run and win it all. The Vikings have not done step one yet, so I can't put them in. I will go Chiefs and Lions, and, Chiefs probably going to win.
I mean, I still see this as the two teams are unblemished right now, so I'm going to go Chiefs, Vikes.
Yeah, well, we try to do this week to week, so I'm with, it's still Chiefs, Vikes. I do think that, and this goes back to our conversation at the top of the show, the NFL has never been this wide open, and there has never been this much parity. I really think it will be who gets hot in December and January and who can kind of ride that out. The other thing to watch for is the chasing of the home field advantage at the 1 seeds, because a team like Houston and a 4-1 start in that division, they could kind of run roughshod through it. The AFC East is really bad, so watch out for them a little bit. So there could be a little bit of that. Kansas City is doing a lot of good right now in burying it, getting off to this 5-0 start. All right, coming up next, college sports gets its settlement. What does it really mean? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Ready to hit the road in a new car? With Pathways, enjoy up to 90 days with no payments and low auto loan rates. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
High Bank Distillery is hosting Battle of the Burgers October 14th through the 19th. Visit High Bank's 3 locations. Get yourself an $8 burger. Upload your burger. Tag High Bank on social media for a chance to win free burgers for a year. Details at highbankco.com/battle.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services,
No,
even
but-
for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No, but-
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
when the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
or you say,
hang it in there.
because,
If I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
Did you and your family lose Ohio Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another beautiful day out there today, and in fact, sunny skies will be the common denominator this week. 70 for the high today under sunny skies, 43 tonight. So sweaters and jackets definitely needed. Same old tomorrow, 70 with bright blue skies, and on Thursday, it'll be a little bit cooler with a high of 69. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV Weather Impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
And join us for an unforgettable evening. It's Tuesday, November 12th, High Bank Distillery in Grandview. Thrilled to invite you to the release of our exclusive fan barrel picks. Proceeds benefit Brady Quinn's Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Enjoy exclusive barrel picks, delicious food pairings, live music, meet and greet with select athletes. For tickets and more information at 971thefan.com. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. You're going to love these picks. We put a great deal of effort into these picks. They have three very distinct flavors and taste profiles. You will taste the difference in them. There will be something for everyone. These are special ones that we selected. I think you're going to enjoy it a lot. Going to be a great night. And then the next day, we're broadcasting live on First Friday at the High Bank Grandview location. So you have that to look forward to. You can join us on that, which is exciting, certainly. All right. We usually do thing or not a thing every day at 10:45. Here's where we are. Judge Claudia Wilkin granted preliminary approval to the terms of an industry-changing antitrust settlement Monday, accepted a series of changes made by attorneys representing all Division I athletes, the NCAA, and its Power 5 conferences. Wilkin's order also established a schedule for the remaining steps to finalize the deal. Any athletes impacted by the settlement will have until January 31st to file an objection or to opt out. What's hilarious about this is the final hearing for approving this deal, which would allow for the NCAA to have control over pay to its athletes, is April 7th, 2025. And yes, that's the same day as the men's basketball national championship game. You will recall that in May, attorneys for all parties agreed to settle a trio of antitrust lawsuits: House versus NCAA, Hubbard versus NCAA, Carter versus NCAA, that claim the association's rules are illegally restricting the earning potential of college athletes. The NCAA, in return, agreed to pay roughly $2.8 billion in damages to former and current college athletes. The deal also eliminates the restrictions on schools directly paying their players, which has long been the cornerstone of NCAA amateurism. By December, all athletes who have competed in Division I sports since 2016, so this is only to 2016, so Tyvus is on the short end of the stick on this one, Joshua Perry as well, will be able to receive an estimate of how much they could receive from damages pool. NCAA President Charlie Baker said in a statement Monday, today's progress is a significant step in writing the next chapter for the future of college sports. We look forward to working with all Division I and especially student-athlete leadership groups to chart the path forward and drive historic change. Multiple groups told the judge that they believe such an allotment, the $2.8 billion, would be unfair to women's athletes and could be violation of federal Title IX laws. As part of the settlement, athletes would have to agree to forego their rights to file Title IX lawsuits about the disbursement of damages. Let me just say this, and that was a lot. How in the blue hell are they going to decide who's going to make what? Not just on the settlement, but going forward. There is one universally revenue-generating sport in college athletics: men's football at the highest level. That's the one. And there's plenty that are in the red or just barely making it in the lower levels, even of Division I, let alone Division II and III and so forth and so on. So they make the lion's share of the money. Men's basketball at a lot of places is profitable. Women's basketball in some places is profitable. Sports like wrestling in some places are profitable, but they're not the norm to be profitable. So when you start saying, all right, now we're going to start to be able to pay athletes, that's that $22 million sum we've talked about for the longest time, how is that number going to be sufficient? How are you going to disperse that number of money? Who gets it? What percentage is it going to be? Is Title IX going to be a part of it? Are female athletes going to be having to give the exact same amount as the male athletes give? Is the football team going to make the most of it because, by God, they earn the most of it? Is that the way it's going to go? There are so many hurdles on these type of things. The other thing that I see as a major red flag here is that this only goes back to 2016. We currently have a lawsuit. Terrell Pryor suing Ohio State and the NCAA. Reggie Bush is suing USC and the NCAA. There are going to be lawsuit upon lawsuit in perpetuity of past damages. So this is a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage, in my view. I do think it could potentially chart the way of how this goes forward, but I think until it's collectively bargained, they're arbitrarily going to put a number on this of 20 million or 22. We've heard all sorts of numbers on that. Could be upwards of 30. how is that not going to be subject to litigation? Why are we only making this percentage of the money that you're making? Who settled on that number? How will that ever be sufficient?
Something that's going to be litigated, it feels like forever. Like we're never going to be able to get out of this because what was the terms approved yesterday, athletes are going to have to forego or agree to forego their rights to file Title IX lawsuits about the disbursement of the damages.
Yeah.
But that's just for this one or for these 3 lawsuits. Because, you talked about TPs, you talked about Reggie Bush's. I think Michigan players, several of them, I think including Braylon Edwards, have also gotten together.
Denard Robinson's on that one?
Like this is so far from being over. And I don't know if there's ever going to be an end to this. Because you're going to get with the 2016 date, and I think that, I don't know if that was what sparked Terrell Pryor's or what sparked the Michigan players and saying, oh, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't include us. And we feel the same way as athletes post 2016. And then, of course, you get we've earned this amount and we're only getting this. That's not relative to what we, have calculated that we earned for this university or for this television provider or for, X conference. You can't ever really come to can the federal government be the only body that steps in and says, no, we're not, you can't do this anymore. You can't be, you cannot sue for past. There has to be a statute of limitations that post 2025. So next fall, when they start sharing the revenue, then the government just says no more of this.
All it's going to take is one high profile, or because up until this point we have not had high profile football player involved in active lawsuit while involved in the sport. It's usually been guys who have just left, or it's been guys who at smaller institutions, but it's coming. Isn't there a Dartmouth basketball? There's an Ivy League basketball that's doing it. I think it's Dartmouth that's suing the NCAA as well. But it is coming, and all it's going to take is somebody saying, I'm worth more than this. Why are you capping what I can make? There's no other profession where they say you can only make this much. You make what someone's willing to pay you. So that's what's going to be really tricky about this. And that's why anytime you hear Saban or anybody, Urban years ago, we have got to get to an NFL model so that we can pay an appropriate amount on football and that we can be collectively bargained and we can pay a percentage of the money. That's just where you're at. And all of the rest of this, to me, guys, feels like half measured.
I don't know how they came up with that random date, seemingly random date of 2016, because if you graduated college in 2015, how can you not say, well, why not me? So I'm really shocked about that. And with the NCAA settling these antitrust lawsuits too, kind of makes you think that they probably think that they would have lost those lawsuits. And of course, may have not wanted to set a precedent, because I know I'm no legal expert, but I know precedent is a big deal in law. And so this really seems infinite how far this will go. And I think anybody, certainly in football, who knows? Even the smaller schools could probably generate some amount of money for athletes who attended there. But I don't know where this ends. Because how long until they file bankruptcy? And how does it also affect what people have been discussing for a long time about the conferences basically seceding from the NCAA and kind of just governing themselves and basically just forming a new college football structure?
They're already there in football, right? I mean, they require the NCAA to do nothing. They run their own playoff. If NCAA tries to shut somebody down, you basically just say no. I mean, that's kind of what's happened in the last decade or so. I also think it's noteworthy that the NCAA was very, very willing to write a check for $2.8 billion. That tells you how well it's gone for them through the years. That they're just like, we got $2.8 billion to make this. I mean, it's like Big Pharma. We got $2.8 billion to make it go away. No problem. I mean, that's kind of part of it. I think everyone's acting like this is the biggest deal in the history of the world. I think this is a absolute straw on the back of a camel of how many things are going to be coming down the pipe for the NCAA in terms of litigation and the amount of losses they're going to take. And I do think inevitably you got to get to a point where you're ruled by something else and have a different set of laws. But nevertheless, a step in some direction yesterday with this ruling. Jay Morrison on the Bengals side of things. How bad is it down there? He'll give some perspective coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is Daily Show. Coach Ryan Day brought to you by Safe Light Auto Glass. And reflecting on the Iowa game, I want to begin by asking you about your thoughts on the offensive line, considering how they played, considering the opponent they were facing.
Yeah, it was a very good defense, and not too many people run the ball against Iowa, so it was a challenge to everybody on the team, including the offensive line. And I felt like Seth did a good job again of getting everything organized, did a good job on the double teams, getting up to the second level. I thought the guards did a good job overall against the two gappers, and tackles played well. I thought the protection was good as well, because some of those throws took a little bit more time, and, we were able to do that. And then also on third down in the red zone. But I think it was good. I think it can continue to help build their confidence up front, knowing that they did it against a pretty stout front.
We'll have another comment in just a moment. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelight.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Coach, we'd asked you about the offensive line. If you would talk about the defensive line and how, just for the most part, they kept Iowa's running game in check.
Yeah, it was, again, a challenge to everybody, but, running the ball and stopping the run is always important. But when you get into these conference games, it's going to be, even more and more important. But the style of run that we were going against, at Iowa is going to be different than the one we were going against here at Oregon. But both... both run games are very, very good, and the most important thing is getting that knock back up front and really knocking back the line of scrimmage and allowing the linebackers to run downhill and creating chaos.
It is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at the Bath Authority. Don't wait until your family and friends arrive or the busy holiday season overwhelms you. Now is the time to elevate your bathroom to a whole new level of luxury, style, and safety. At the Bath Authority, you'll get free installation on your new bath or shower and enjoy 36 months of 0% interest financing. That's right, free installation and no interest for 3 years. Visit thebathauthority.com to grab their awesome deal. The Bath Authority, a better bath awaits.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today, only at KriegerFord.com.
High Bank Distillery is giving away free burgers for a year. Stop by any of High Bank's 3 locations October 14th through the 19th and try their $8 burgers. Upload your burger pic to social media. Tag High Bank for a chance to win. Visit highbankco.com/battle for more details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to get a little smarter on what's going on down in Cincinnati. And for that, we talked to our guy, Jay Morrison. He joins us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Look, slow starts notorious down there. We know that, Jay. But this is something else. What is the biggest cause for concern for the Bengals in this 1-4 start?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the defense. This offense is putting up historic numbers, and you score over 30 in 3 straight games, and you only win one of them. And you think the defense can get better. It doesn't seem like this offense is going to fall off the cliff. And so you just need this defense to get to respectability. Like, they don't even have to be average. They just can't be awful. And maybe they can get there. You've got a veteran defensive coordinator who knows what he's doing. The problem is they're just trusting too many young guys. They've got too many young guys on that defense, and they've got guys hurt. They're starting to get them back. They've played some really good teams. I mean, you look at it, Washington and Baltimore are the top 2 teams offensively in terms of DVOA. Kansas City's really good. So I think the schedule gets a little easier, but this defense has to figure out a way. I mean, they're just not even getting off the field. They can barely force punts. They're not getting turnovers, and they're just getting gashed for yards and points in every game, it seems like.
So when you have something like this that is now 5 games in and you're wasting 300-yard Burrow performances and 30 points per game out of an offense, there's a couple of things you can do. You can either change what you're doing philosophically, or you can change what you are from a personnel standpoint. Which of those seems like the more logical step forward for the Bengals and Lou Anarumo's defense?
Yeah, I don't think personnel can be changed. Like I said, they're already relying on so many young guys, and they've let veterans walk on that side of the ball. They need these guys to develop. They've drafted very high draft picks on defense the last 3 years, and it's time for them to start playing well. So I think we talked to Lou about this yesterday. He's like, you can't just change up the scheme totally. The guys have to believe in what you're doing, and you can't throw this much at them new when you've been preparing all along. But I did think it was interesting against Baltimore how much they blitzed, and that was kind of the story of the game with that defense. Is they threw a lot of zero blitzes and really came after Lamar with pressure, and they just didn't get there, or they did get there and Lamar ran away from him. He's just so good at that. So I wonder if they lean into that a little more, and now you've got Daniel Jones, you've got Deshaun Watson the next 2 games. Do they continue to keep trying to dial up pressure? Because that's been the biggest issue with this defense. It's not been the miscommunication like last year. It's just been the absolute lack of a pass rush other than Trey Hendrickson. And that's how you fix that, is to blitz and manufacture your pressure that way, trust guys on the back end. And I wonder if Lou leans into that a little bit more moving forward.
I can promise you if he does that against Cleveland in a couple of weeks, he'll have a great deal of success because they don't pick up on that at all, Jay. Talking to the great Jay Morrison, the Bengals beat writer for SIsBengalTalk.com on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Burrow post-game Sunday, and you're around him a lot more than I am, obviously. If you felt the frustration and kind of the patience wearing thin, what did you make of kind of Joe and where his headspace is?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I didn't go in for him.
Okay.
You're going to get the transcript anyhow, and I wanted to talk to defensive guys after the game. So I was in the locker room talking to the defensive side of the ball. But I watched his whole press conference, and you could feel the frustration. And, I mean, how can you not? You can be a team player and sit up there and say, we got to win as a team. But when you're putting up performances like that and your defense isn't getting it done, I think the Bengals and Joe and the entire offense has done a good job of not pointing fingers, and you just wonder when those cracks start to show. But it felt different. I think the urgency they knew was there for that win. And you could feel it from Joe even before that press conference, his press conference on Wednesday leading into that game, where he was talking about how he had to be damn near perfect. And he was. 5 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 392 yards. He was near perfect, and they still didn't win. So, yeah, I don't know what kind of changes can be made in terms of preparation, but they've got to figure something out because it just can't keep going like this.
Jay, one thing that we've seen a lot throughout the league, not just in Cincinnati, but we've seen a lot of coaches. Look, these kickers can routinely make 50-yard field goals now. Like 50-yard field goals are now what 40-yard field goals used to be. We all know it. Saw Kansas City doing it a couple of weeks ago where they're like, yeah, we're good. Butker can make it from 56. Let's go, and away we go. And you saw it in your game in overtime, obviously, on Sunday. Zach was criticized for it afterwards. If the hold's clean and McPherson makes it, nobody says a word. In the moment as you were there at the stadium, were you surprised they didn't try to get a little bit closer?
Yeah, absolutely. And I immediately flashed back to 2021 when they played the 49ers and they were in overtime and Zach took the ball out of Joe's hands and they settled for a field goal. And that was the first possession. So then San Francisco got a crack and they went down, scored a touchdown and beat them. And Zach talked about how he lost sleep over that decision and he was not going to take the ball out of Burrow's hands ever again. And it was really surprising. And I get the angst from the fans, but if you think about it, even if they gain 20 yards and that's a 33-yard field goal, if you drop the snap, you drop the snap. It doesn't matter where the field goal's from. But I still, 53, I keep going. I know it's apples and oranges a little bit, but I keep going back to that college football playoff game when Ohio State played Georgia, and they just felt like, okay, 50, we're good, and settled, and then missed the field goal. And I don't know why coaches don't try to get a little bit closer. I know things can go wrong. There can be a hold. There can be a penalty. But it just feels like you need to get inside a 50 to feel totally comfortable, as good as Evan McPherson has been, 14 in a row in the fourth quarter until that miss.
Yeah, he's been exceptional. Buckeye fans taking strays here. We're supposed. I mean, that's post traumatic stress disorder about that field goal against Georgia.
I'm one of them, so that's
they'll never recover from that one around here, Jay. Here's the thing. I said this earlier in the show when comparing the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns. And the Browns, I think, are borderline lost cause at this point. But I even Cincinnati at 1-4 versus Pittsburgh at 3-2. If they can get to 5-6, Jay, by the bye week, I think they're fine. And I think I would still rather be them than either of the other two, Cleveland, obviously, and maybe even Pittsburgh, because of the way Burrow is playing and the way the offense is playing. Is that fair? Do you think these are fixable things and that this team will be where it needs to be in December?
Yeah, I do, and because of how the offense is playing, like I said, things can always go south. In the second half of the season, things can look completely different than the first. But barring injuries across the board, this offense is playing so well. I just can't see it falling off. And so, if they can climb back to closer to 500, and you get into November and you're hanging around, you do have some confidence that this defense will get better and not. Like I said, don't have to be top 10, don't have to be top 16, but just get out of the bottom 2 or bottom 3. I think it can happen. I think they start feeling better if they can win this week on Sunday Night Football against the Giants and then beat Cleveland, which they've struggled to win in Cleveland. Zach Taylor's never won in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But you get to 3-4, you get that huge home game against the Eagles. I think that's where it could really turn, but you got to get past a suddenly more formidable Giants team on Sunday night.
Yeah, all of a sudden the Giants are robust as well. Great stuff as always. Appreciate your time and your expertise and sharing with us a little bit today. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Bo.
All right, that's Jay Morrison, covers the Bengals for Sports Illustrated's BengalsTalk.com, one of the best in the business on that side of things. Speaking of the best in the business, if you are suffering from erectile dysfunction and you're looking for a positive change, I can help you. Give my friends at Tri-State Men's Health a call today. They can help you get on the right track in your sex life. If your sex life is okay or just good enough, maybe you've tried pills, supplements, and they're working all right. What if it could be better? What if it could be a lot better? Well, my friends at Tri-State Men's Health treatments work. Well, the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some of those treatments even having you last an hour or more. Oh, baby. Do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town today. Initial visit is just $99. Includes that medical consult, licensed medical provider, TNPSA test if medically advised, a test dose. Now, if the test dose doesn't work, here's the deal. The office visit is free. So as you can see, it is a no-lose win-win for you. Give them a call. Get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com today. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard, no Medical Mile in Westerville. 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay ECO to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get ECO to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying ECO to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get ECO.com.
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't appreciate what Awaken 180 has done for me. Scotty Vegas here, and since I started Awaken 180 in January, I lost and have kept off over 40 pounds. I hadn't been under 200 pounds since high school. Now I've been under 200 pounds for 5 straight months. My coach Patrick and I were laughing this week as I was telling him now in my tennis matches, instead of trying to play quick points, I have the energy to play long points and wait for my opponent to tire out. My metabolism is working the way it should now that I'm at my ideal weight. After you reach your ideal weight, Awaken 180 provides the free support for life. If you're ready to make the change and only do it once, do it. Call the long-term solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the Fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and Jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas where you'll compete for the grand prize, a trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Sunday at Donerick's on North High for the Browns-Eagles game. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. to give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Saturday is game day on the Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Ford.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
And it's your Uncle Bo here for my great friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. As True Jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, but they also have talented in-house designers. They will create something truly special and one of a kind just for you. You know why I know they'll do this? Because they've been doing it for 75 years. You don't get to that point unless you do things right. Their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Go see them. Diamond Cellar. Check them out. Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or diamondcellar.com for more on that. What do we have on the poll today, Reese?
Kelsey and Taylor Swift will get married.
Feels like it. Her dad was at the game last night, right?
Taylor's?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's when Travis Kelce hands the ball off for that final touchdown to Xavier Worthy. He goes up and asks, "Can I have your daughter's hand in marriage, sir?"
Be something if he did like that cliche thing. Like, I'm going to ask her at the Chiefs game, Dad. It's going to be awesome.
After the winning touchdown to the Super Bowl. 62% say no. They will not be getting married.
More likely, yes, at this point.
And then we had actually asked, is it possible Taylor Swift didn't pay attention to football at all until she started dating Travis Kelce? 78% said yes, it's possible. But Rachel chimes in, and I had to Google this for confirmation, that her brother went to Notre Dame. And so there are photos of Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez back when they were besties on the sideline at Notre Dame.
Okay. So she's seen it. So we don't have to act like every time Travis catches a ball, it's the first time he's ever touched a football in his life. Like okay, that solves that. Let's hit three things.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
All right, number one for me. So it's the time of year where I have the yard aerated. So they come out and they aerate it so that the grass grows better and it's a cleaner operation across the board. But in the interim, all of those plugs of mud come up. And what do you suppose those look like? About 1 billion buddy poops.
Dookie.
So finding his on the lawn this morning as I was going around was borderline impossible. I nearly stepped on a landmine directly, which I have yet to do in his 2 years with us here. But this is going to be a challenging next couple of days until the lawnmowers come on Friday.
I had forgotten that Aaron Rodgers joined Pat McAfee every Tuesday, but I guess he's moved his Tuesday appearance to Wednesday.
I bet.
Obviously for, no particular reason, right? Because, look, Pat McAfee, that show's not for me. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. I can't imagine they're going to ask him much about it, you think?
Yeah.
I hope.
They're paying him a lot of money to ask him direct questions. I think they will.
I enjoyed a nice weekend in Cleveland. I got to see playoff baseball. Being a Pirates fan, that's not very often I get to see it on TV, let alone in person. So I got together with some buddies. Just it's a cool thing you get to do when you're back in your hometown. Get together with some high school and some college friends and go see it. I hung out in the flats afterwards. I saw the studios of ESPN 850. I think Bo saunters around there every now and again. Biggest takeaway from the weekend, I-71 is so much better than I-70, it's not even funny.
I've actually never been to those studios. I've never been.
Never.
No. Number two for me. So we got this kid on Beamsy's team who I've been wanting to try out for basketball. Know the family, love the kid. He's a tall kid, and he finally tried out for basketball in the 5th grade, and he made the team. He's 5'9", 5'10" in the 5th grade. So the average 5th grader is, heck, most of them aren't even 5 feet. So it's going to be a decided advantage. So we get done yesterday at the uniform fitting, and I said, hey buddy, who's your favorite player? And he goes, Jokic. And I just tugged him. I said, my God, everything I've been waiting for. Now I got a Jokic that I can run this offense through. This is going to be a scene, man. Can't wait to unveil him.
Is he the kind of player you can just put him down post and just be like, just hit?
I'm going to make him live. I'm going to let him live. We're going to run the offense. He's going to throw it over everybody.
That's a coach's dream.
It's a dream. And then he wants to be everything that you'd want a big to be. Unbelievable.
They say it just means more in the SEC, but the Southeastern Conference fined Arkansas and Vanderbilt for their fans storming the field on Saturday, which I don't agree with. I think if they storm the field, especially those two schools, especially Vanderbilt, who got docked $100,000. Now, the Commodores probably don't need it. They've got like a $9 billion endowment. But, man, like for the first time you ever knock off a number one ranked team, I think you're allowed to storm the field. Sam Pittman, who it's now his second fine, he got $250,000. Every time moving forward, the Hogs want to rush the field, it'll be $500,000 from Arkansas. But Pittman said after the win, I think the AD, and he named him, Hunter's going to be mad about the fine, or maybe he won't be. Right now, I don't care. Go Hogs, baby.
Perfect. Old cold beer. That's all he needs.
Go outside and take a walk this week. Mid to high 60s is what it's going to be sitting at for the most of the week. Next week, it's going to start to regularly sit below 60 and get into the 50s. Tuesday, how about this? Low of 36 degrees. Enjoy the nice weather while we got it.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. Finally, for me, tonight is the last 7th grade football game for NBC. This is the first time I haven't coached him or had any say in it. So the way they do it is instead of a playoff, they go the 1 seed from the 2 divisions play, the 2 seeds from each division's play. We went 6-1, only had the 1 loss, and so that was good to be the 2 seed. So we'll play the other 2 seed. It's amazing that it's already over to me. It seems wildly too soon for it to be over, but they also start like end of July, and that seems a little bit too early. I think just move it all back a little bit would feel a little bit more natural. It seems too soon to be done with the season.
It also feels like it's too soon for weekday college football.
Oh,
but
baby.
You've got the 4-0 Liberty Flames tonight taking on FIU. That game's at 7 o'clock. And, Bo, I think you had the stat last week. There is no day of the week without football, without, I guess this is meaningful football until the end of November. And that feels bonkers because I'm not ready for winter yet. But I guess, to the Starks, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's also too early for the hockey season to be starting, which it is tonight, but that's a separate issue. Ryan Day's going to be taking the podium. We're going to be streaming it live right here on The Fan, so do not go anywhere. Rothman and Ice usually start at noon. Today and most Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're going to start at 1.
Here's an interesting one. So you're going to have Ryan, you're going to have Chip, and Will Howard. So he continues that NFLization with the quarterback spot, with Will Howard getting the big media availability. A lot to look forward to. Look forward to that Chip conversation as well. We're back tomorrow. Rothman and Ice following Coach Day next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
AFC North odds. Ravens now become significant favorites to win the division at -230. Steelers are 4-1. Bengals 6-1. And the Browns are 32-1. This week's odds, the Browns are 8.5-point dogs to the Eagles. Steelers are a field goal favorite in Las Vegas. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites over the Giants. And the Ravens are a touchdown favorite over the Commanders. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save on Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef. It's perfect for burgers and more. 3-pound packages are on sale for $2.99 a pound with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your flooring again. Nature Stone is a beautiful permanent flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Act now to get pricing as low as 99 cents a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capace here for Worthington Jewelers.
Join us for our semi-annual bridal sale.
Featuring our BOGO, buy one, get one 50% off on engagement rings, wedding bands, or wedding sets. Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.